And right before I go live, if I could just get some silence. Happy day number 2 of TCO21. As you could see, I was looking down just to make sure that my microphone was not muted. Yes, we had a couple of those issues yesterday, but I'm getting better at this, shake off all the little jitters on day 1, get even better shows moving forward. That's what I'm going to be doing here for you all this week. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys are all rested up and you're ready to go for another day 2 of shows here on what do we even call this? Like the TCO broadcast. We're streaming on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all of our top coder pages, TCO, the homepage, and your dashboard everywhere. We're trying to be global all over your screens. All right. So today, I mentioned hopefully you came here fresh. Now, there are some people who may not be fresh at this point, and I'm talking about those marathon folks. They are still going at it. Again, they have 24 hours in order to complete their competition. Now, we're going to be checking in with them a little bit later. We also have a QA show coming up later on in the day. But first, we are going to head on over and check out what is going on with the design finals. Now, in the design finals, there's, I believe, 3 different rounds, and this is going to be done in a tournament style, like a March Madness, so it's very exciting. I don't want to spoil too much, but first, I want to update you with your hosts that are coming up. First, we have Fajar, who is from Indonesia, and he will be one of your hosts. He's been here on the Top Coder platform for a very long time. And alongside him, we have Sita. Sita has also been here for a while as well as a Top Coder member. And she was actually in one of these design finals back in the day. Maybe she'll talk about that a little bit too. Also from Indonesia, but currently in Liverpool. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Fajar and Sita. Take it away, guys.
Hello, nice to meet you. Thank you for the introduction, Nick. So first of all, my name is Fajar Maulana. I live in Medan, Indonesia. My handle at top coder is fajar.mln, and you will be able to find me anywhere in the top coder because I am doing my job here. My job here is as a design co-pilot and also a top coder community manager. And with me, we have Sita Kaur Chamba. Should I call you this or you have another name now?
Just call me Sita.
So, Sita, aka ID Black. She is a long time veteran member at Top Coder. I think you're joining since
2008. Yeah,
Oh,
it's been
2008.
very,
So it's
yeah,
almost it's 13 years now.
yes, it's been a long
So
time.
okay, that's a long time for a member. So yeah, we are going to updating you about the updates of design tournament, design finalists, and okay, let's start about the current situation. The design final one is happening today. It's already started from 7 a.m. Today, so it's already like 3 hours. Uh, and right now we are currently on the third challenge that we are doing a new format. The format has been used for the last 2 years. I think 2018. Are we already doing the bracket tournament, Sita? Do you
Uh,
recall?
and until last year, I think we do exactly the same like this, yeah. But
So
the
it's been
previous
3 years
one,
now.
yeah,
Okay, I think it's
yes.
no, no.
Last year we do the
2018.
same.
No, I remember 2018 we are still doing the tournament format with the list from 1 to 12, and this bracket tournament has been presented since 2019. So yeah, we've been doing it 3 years now in a row.
Okay.
For an
Okay.
information, Subcoder Open being held online due to the pandemic that's happening right now in around the world. So we are not doing it live because of that issue. Uh, yeah. Um, in this year, we have 12 finalists from 5 countries that will be competing in a format called bracket tournament for the design final. It's already started today and will be happening again on Friday and the next Saturday. And the first place will won $10,000, and the second place
Oops.
will be get $1,500, and the third place will be $500. So that's a lot of money to be competing against. And as a finalist, you also finalist for the TCO final, right, Sita? What years you are in the TCO?
Uh, I'm losing track here, but I've been twice at the third place. Unfortunately, it was very tough. So that's
Which
the
year? Which year?
highest. The third one is, I think I was in New York. Wait, Washington? We never been New York, right? Washington. Yes, and the previous one, I think it was in Florida. Yes, that was the. So I don't remember exactly what year is that, but I just remember the place.
It's been a while, right?
It's been a very long time. I mean, I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
gain my
yeah, yeah.
age here.
Okay. So for everyone that interested and wants to find out about TCO, more about TCO, the Top Coder Open is a final design competition that being held by Top Coder every year in 6 different tracks: algorithm, marathon, QA, development, first to finish, and design track. Maybe when you hear about the name of top coder, you're thinking about that it's all about programming side, but it's not completely true. We have a design track that already happening since 2007. So it's been 14 years now, I think. So yeah, it's been
Yes.
14 years held, and we in every year since 2007 we are joining the TCO final, and yeah, until now it's still going on, and still it's become more stronger each year. So yeah, um, if you are planning to participate in TCO in final, you can compete and join the Podder as a member, and then participate in our challenges. You can choose your tracks, you can choose your category. If you are a programmer, you can go to the development side. If you are a creative and also a designer, you can join our UI design track. So if you participate in challenge, every challenge has a point that being collected for a period of time. Usually it's every 3 or 4 months, and the top 3 members with the most point in that period of time will be selected and become the TCO finalists. So yeah, that's how you can join our track and participate at TCO final.
But
So
but but let me cut you. But this was previous to the pandemic, right? I mean, currently, when you want to enter TCO tournament, we use this seed system, isn't that right?
we still using that system. So every period
Okay.
of time, like 3 or 4 months, we will be collecting points, and then the summary of the points will be counted. The top points, the top members that have the most point will be granted a ticket to the TCO final. So we are not planning to do the TCO every year online. We are planning it to do it live again probably next year.
Hopefully.
I really
Hopefully.
really hope that it will be going live on site again next year, because even though that I like it being online and I miss the warmness and also seeing members from around the world. So yeah, I hope that's
That's
happening
true.
next year.
So,
Uh, So yeah, back again. On 2007, when the TCO first time happening, we have two design winners at that time.
okay.
The first one is Yiming that really participate in the TCO track, and the other one is Abedavera that participate in a design competition, but for TCC, for the collegiate challenge. So this is for students from the university. They have they win the first place. And then since then, we are progressing until 2021, and we have a lot of TCO champions from Abedavera. Abedavera has the most TCO counts. He won it 4 times, and on 2011, 2013, 2015, and 2016. It's all happening, and he wants all the four. Continue with iamtong. Yes, this is statistic. He has he already complete in 1,662 challenges. Can you believe it, Tita?
Wow. I
That's
mean,
a lot of challenge, you know. Oh,
Abedavera is
yeah.
obviously a legend. If you are either you're new or you're old in top coder, you cannot miss this guy. He is really is a legend, and everyone's looking up at him. And he's a very talented designer. He deserved it, of course.
Yeah, I know him actually in personal because he is my senior in the college. So when the first time I hear him winning the TCC on 2007 and get a lot of money from that, I'm became jealous and start participating at the border because of it. Yeah. So he also have another statistic like 299 wins and also 13 rocks placement and etc etc. So that's a lot of wins, and I know that because of that he able to join and participate at TC final every years actually. So yeah, after Abedavera we have Iamtong with 3 times winning, and after that we have around seven winners from that wins 1 time. So this Yamdong have already competing for 1,297 challenges, wins a lot of time, almost half of it, 560 wins, with 46 of it is rocks placement and 21 lux placement. So rocks and lux here means that this is a special challenge that happening at top order. It has bigger prizes. It's almost $10,000. Yeah, between 7,500 to $10,000, and it has a tight deadline. It only have like 3 days, or maybe for the last challenges, if you still recall it, Sita, it
Yes,
only have 24 hours to complete the design. So that's why the price is bigger, but it has a very tight deadline, and he wants 21 of them. That's really
impressive.
great. Yeah, impressive.
Yeah,
He have the first place for 8 time. Another is a second or third, or maybe like from the second to eighth placement. So he already attend 10 TCOs. So that's a lot of TCOs, and win the 3 of them. That's great, I think. So what for this year? Do you know how what how this year this TCO 21 qualification started?
no, so what we're like doing this bracket challenge as you mentioned before, and already like we're finished like right now the third round, and I guess we're starting the third round, and I think Adam and Nick also want to join us in the screen right now. Maybe we are ready to talk about this.
Mm, just a moment. So for the qualification onto TCO 2021, we are studying it from the July 1, the 1st of July. 2020, and we ended it on 30 June 2021. So it's all the finalists competing in about 160 design challenges to be able to get the slot for this
Mm-hmm.
competition, for this design competition. And from all the finalists right now, we have 8 veterans and 4 rookies. So there is 4 members that this is their first time at TCO final. Nofear, wahyu.ts, ToxicPixel, and d.fachri. While the others is the veterans that already compete in several times, maybe 2 or 3 times, and maybe 10 or 11 times at TCO final. So they already have so they have the more advantage and more experience. And yeah, uh, how many do you recall how many designers in from the country statistic
Uh,
for this year?
Actually, for this year, I mean, I think only few people that I don't know, but the rest, I think I knew them and met them personally.
Okay, so there are 7 Indonesian from
Yes,
Indonesian, and one from Thailand, Hungary, and South Africa, and 2 others is from India. So that's for from the 5 countries that have a great designer around the world that's
yes,
competing in the TCO21 final. As you can see in the screen right now, we have Dian Fahri. This is his first time joining Top Coder Open Final. He already joined Top Coders in 2017, and I saw his progress from the first time he competing in the design challenge at Top Coder until this year. There's a lot of improvements. There's a lot of the skills gained from all the experience so far. So this is interesting because uh, he participate in almost like design that have technical specific specification, like in the design for Power BI and like for data visualization. So that is his specialty. uh as you can see, the fun fact is he has a math and science degree and also a major in chemistry. So like doing data visualization and having like processing a data is much more like his experience in daily life. So I think that's helping him to get the ticket, because we have like a lot of the Davis challenges in the recent years, and that's how he can make it into the TCO final. Yep.
I think it's interesting that you see someone is like actually strong at math and all of this kind of categories, but also pretty good at designing. It's not very common.
Yeah. So this one, the screen is saying the I am infinite. He is from Indonesia and has been a member since 2008. But I know he is not participating at the Podder, and in the early years, he just started focusing on top Podder since 2015. When he participated and become serious in top Podder, he able to get the placement on the TCO final on 2015. We are doing it in Yogyakarta. Are you there, Sita? Are you
Yes,
participating? Yes. Yeah.
yes, I was in
I think you're the
Jakarta.
committee for that event, right?
Yes, we are coordinating together.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So he has been participating more than 1,000 challenges with 167 wins. That's great. That's a good statistic. And he has 22 rocks placement and 2 lux placement. He won 4 rocks first place, and he already attend 4 TCOs. I think he attends his TCO where? 2015, 2018, 2019, 2020, and now this is the 5th time as in 2021, I think, because I met him on Ellen when we are doing in a short progress. Do you remember?
Yes.
In the yes, in the ranch on Texas, 2019 we are doing it at the Houston. 2020 we are doing it online, and 2021 right now. So yeah, and to 2015 in Jogja, Indonesia. So yeah, I think uh that's all about the introduction for the finalists. We have a lot of finalists. We can see in the interview. We have like interview with them in the TCO21.topcoder.com. You can see it on the website, and you can see it while we are doing rotation in the live broadcast. We have nofear, we have iqbalhood that just appeared previously, and we have another finalist. We have 12 finalists in total this year. We have PereViki from Hungary. He participated in almost 148 challenge before she started uh, her job as a design copilot at Topoder. And we have Rajeshrathod. It's already joining Topoder since 2006, before even before the design studio being created. So yeah, that's 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 awesome. We have also like Stark 18 1995. He got mentoring from one of our member called iamtong. He doesn't have any design experience earlier, but he learning from our member from Luis, from iamtong, and then he on 2019 I think he advanced into the TCO finalist and seeing iamtong for the first time in the host on Houston. Uh, I recall you, are you joining in 2019, Sita?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. So we have another finalist called ToxicPixel. He is from South Africa. This one is unique. He is very skillful. He has a lot of talent, not just as a UI designer, but also in like animation and also in the concept design. He's very strong on that side. So most of the time, he won his challenge when the design challenge is about the concept design. When it's opening and it's need some creative and innovative skills to be win at the challenge. So yeah, we have another finalist. We have Universo. I met
Yeah.
him for the first time in 2017 when the TCO final is on Buffalo, New York. He's a very cheerful guys. I like him a lot because he looks like a Korean star. Yeah,
Yes.
right.
I mean, yeah, he is actually.
Yeah,
You will People will not going to believe if we said that he's Indonesian. People will say like,
yeah.
okay,
He has a thick accent of Surabaya people. He
okay.
is very what we call it in Indonesia. It's medok style, ya, accent, ya. It's very thick accent of Surabaya. So yeah, he wants 86 challenges in top coder, and now we have wahyu.ts. wahyu.ts is from Indonesia. He joining on 2019. He participate in 140 challenges and win 19 of them. This is his first TCO final, and he actually reached out to me when he first time joining Top Coders, asking about the opportunity that available here, what kind of opportunity that we can offer them in Top Coder, and he decided to be focused on Top Coder since then. So this is his result where he can be the finalist for the first time at TCO 21. So yeah, what is the other finalist?
The last finalist.
I think that's the last finalist.
I think, yeah, I think that's we reach on the final. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that's
good.
great. That's great. So, what do you think about the TCO format for this year in the design track? You know that when you are participating at Top Coder Open Final, the competition is more like a tournament where all the finalists competing between each other and then trying to reach at the top position and become the top leader, right? Is that the
Yes.
format that you are experiencing in your TCO?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a typical normal tournament. Everyone's starting at the same point, and you have the eliminations after that. So this one, I can see that a little bit difference. The one who advanced earlier, they're being placed right away without have to starting on the first round. It's certainly far more challenging because one person can be on three challenges instead of like one or two. What would be the benefit of it? I think it's just I find this a little bit I cannot be very straightforward whether this is actually good or not, but under some pressure we would probably see like a lot of people being pushed to the limit they will bringing out, like in such a short time, can they solve a problem or not? I think that would be like one of the benefit of this. So the other benefit I would say, you could be like veteran, extremely talented, but if you're not a quick problem solver, this is not going to be good for you as well. You make it too complicated.
I see. So with the design bracket tournament that being used as the format for this year, where you compete between just only one designer at a time, do you think this is more challenges there than the recent years where we still use a tournament list format where you competing with all of the designers?
I mean, certainly this is going to be far more challenging, I
Oh, I
would
see.
say.
That's interesting. I thought because we're only facing just one people, this is more okay. I only need to focus on this one and I don't need to think about the others and I just need to beat this one and then go forward advancing into the next round. So that's an interesting talk, I think. Okay. So uh we have like three challenges. We have like three rounds today, where
Yes.
the first challenge happening on 7 a.m. Earlier this day. So, Nick, can you open the challenge for the first round? Okay, this one is for top order communication center. What do you think about the problem, Sita? Do you think the problem is will be easily to be solved within 16 minutes? Or is it going to be need more than that to be able to create something pixel perfect for the judges to win this one?
This challenge, I find it very tricky. If you read it in a glance, you will thinking like, easy. It's just notifications, no big deal. But to be honest, this is not just about notification. You want to having a solutions, like you don't want people getting overwhelmed when they see the notifications. It's just being bombarded with too many things in a go. So it can be look very easy, but it is a very tricky, and this is, I think it's mostly going to show how good you are at the problem solving instead of the aesthetic reason, I would say. So I will be careful on this one. 60 minutes looks long for this, but if you bring up the way that you're showing up your solution, is in the end is just complicate things, it's not gonna be well for you.
Okay. Uh, by saying that like a communication center with experience, I think this is all about creating some way of communicating between person to person in one place. They asking for a feature like chat, notification, recommendation, and forum activity. Do you think that it needs to be added into one single page, or maybe you need to create a different pages for all these feature?
So if it's from me, because I mean I see this like a notification like center, I will try to group them so user can jump from one to another, but still going to be shown in one page. That's from my point of view, because I'm 60 minutes. I cannot really like making like few screens in a go. So I would do like a group them in a go, and then later user can decide it on which category they want to go forward.
I see, I see. So for all these challenges, we have like two judges in the that will be uh, judging all the submission. Do you think by having this quick design within 60 minutes, is it going to impress able to impress the judges?
That's a tough one. I mean, no wonder this is the tournament challenge, right? Uh, 60 minutes is a very short time. Times fly like nothing. So that's why I'm saying this is a very tricky challenge here. It looks easy, but the minute you start doing it one by one, you realize this is gonna take time. So I think designer has to be really quick, and they shouldn't be try to complicate it. So I'm really looking forward to see the result, because I would like to see how does it goes as well.
I see. So I think we need to get more insight about this challenge from the judges. I have Adam Moorhead and Clinton Bonner that will be joined with us. They are the judges for the design challenge. Hi Clinton, hi Adam.
Jar, what's going on?
I'm doing great. How about you?
strong to moderately strong.
Strong. So, how was it? How what kind of experience that did you having right now? Judging. This is your first time judging live design, right, Clinton? I'm not going to say Adam. He already experienced with this, so I think he can do it with eyes closed. So I want to know about your experience, Clinton.
Yeah, no. So for TCO Fajar, yes, that's correct. But I have done many a ruxes, ruxes and luxes and everything else in the years of Top Coder running those. Some of the more fun ones out at the T-Mobile campus, out in the state of Washington, doing those live. So and doing them live at like South by Southwest. So definitely plenty of experience of doing the hey, we got to pick some winners quickly, but still, this is more intense, and you have to even the judging rounds, like, hey, to put so much design ask on the designers to get so much accomplished in only an hour is really hard. So it's incredible to see what we see. So to kind of take it seriously from a judging perspective, to you're doing it quickly, you have a half an hour, but really trying to unearth little nuggets that might help somebody stand out versus the person they're competing against. So that's kind of it. It's like really just taking a quick magnifying glass, like, hey, globally, does the design make sense? Does it answer the problem? As Adam was saying, like, hey, which one solves the problem better? And then if they both solve it well, then looking at kind of the nooks and crannies of which one had maybe some cooler ideas, or like which one would you want to click into further if you had more time to do so, if there was more there to go see. So it's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun, and definitely grateful for the opportunity. Looking forward to hopefully doing it next year too.
So we have been doing like a 2 round right now, right? You're judging 2 rounds for until this time. So there will be like another round that we'll be reviewing maybe in about how long the timing?
30 minutes.
30 minutes from now.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Before you are leaving and doing the judging, can you tell me about the format of this year tournament? Like what is the seeding and how the progression from the first round until the final will be happening?
Sure.
Adam?
Yeah, sure. So we are using, this is a 1v1 bracket style design tournament. So what that means is that we have 12 designers, and each designer is given a seed number. So this is based on them competing in a challenge, and how well they did in that challenge is the seed that they were provided. So if you did not do well, or if the other designers just happen to do better than you may end up being a 12 seed. Okay. If you did the best of everyone, you may be a number 1 seed. Okay. And then everyone else falls in between 2 through 11. Okay. And we do this because it helps to set up the bracket. So typically in this type of tournament, a 1 would compete against a 12. So here in the United States, we do this with basketball tournaments. It's mostly known here in the U.S. around March Madness, where we have teams that are seeded, and then that's how that you figure out who's going to compete against who based on their record. In this case, the record is how they did in the initial seeding competition. So what happened here is we end up having, since we have 12 designers, 4 of them ended up with a bye. So they didn't have to compete in the first round. So we ended up with a 5 versus a 12, a 6 versus 11, a 7 versus 10, and a 8 versus 9. Okay. And what happens in the seed round, similar to the competitions we're running right now, someone does really well and someone doesn't do as well. And so some designers that you might think are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they may end up being 6, 7, 8, 9, right?
I
And so
see.
this ends up creating kind of this cool kind of tournament feel, and it creates the matchups that are like matchups that we may not expect. So
Mm. So yeah, I think we have the bracket latest updates. Can we show it? So yeah, this
yes,
is the day one. We already run 2 design challenges today, and as you can see right now, there. Can you explain how the brackets work? Upper bracket, lower bracket, Adam?
Yeah, so we started out in that very first column. Okay, that's where we have I am infinite, number 9 versus number 8 Stark, and number 5 No Fear versus number 12 Toxic Pixel, number 11 Universo versus 6 Rajesh, number 7 d.fachri versus 10 iqbalhood. So they competed one on one. So the cool thing is they only have to beat the designer or defeat the designer that they are competing against to make it onto the next round. And so this, what we're seeing in column 1 and column 2, what we'd call the upper bracket. Okay, and so anyone who lost was defeated in the first column moved into the lower bracket, and that's what we see on that third column that's happening right this minute. So first column,
Uh,
second column are complete, and right now for 60 minutes, that third column is where the designers are competing.
I see. I see. I saw that several members not competing on the first column. They are competing in the second column. That is because they won the seeding challenge.
So if they won in the first round, so the first column, then they compete in the second round. So that's where, so you see the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, the number 3 seed, and the number 4 seed. They had a bye. They did not have to compete in the first round. Okay, because they did very well in the seed
In the
challenge.
seeding challenge, right?
Right. And then I Am Infinite won in round 1, so he had to compete against iamtong in round 2. Okay. In round 2, he lost to iamtong. So in round 3, I Am Infinite is competing against d.fachri down there at the bottom. And then No Fear won in round 1 and lost to PereViki. So No Fear is competing right this minute against Universo down there in the lower bracket. And then Wahyu versus Rajesh. Rajesh won in round 1, and now Rajesh lost in round 2, and Rajesh is competing there against ToxicPixel. And then iqbalhood won against d.fachri, and now iqbalhood lost against abedavera, and he is competing there against Stark. Okay, so this is a double elimination competition, so everyone can lose once. Once they lose a second time, they are out of the competition. So anyone that's competing right this minute in that third column, when they lose, they will be out of the competition.
Oh, that's interesting. So everyone that competing right now will be have a chance to be eliminated.
Yes.
Wow,
So that
that's
lower bracket there. So Iqbalhood or Stark, one of them will be going home, so to speak. And Rajesh and Toxic Pixel, one of them will be done. And No Fear, Universo, one of them will be done, and one will be continuing. So it's a double elimination. Each one of them have already lost once, and that's that lower bracket.
looking at the placement and looking at the brackets right now. I think all the members that already advanced to the next round for Friday is
Yes.
the veteran. Do you think that's because they have more experience in the bracket tournament, or
Well,
is
I
it
would say
just because they have more design skills than the others designer?
probably the exception there is Wahyu, right? So Wahyu maybe is not he may be a veteran designer, but not necessarily a top coder, right? So I think he's the exception to that statement. But what I do think is the seed challenge. Um, the 1 through 4, they held their seeds, right? They did not lose. So obviously, out of the seed challenge, the judges made some good decisions. they, they picked the 1 through 4, and they're still 1 through 4, right? None of them lost here on day 1.
I see. So, Sita, you're saying that earlier that this competition format is more challenging than the one that we use in the previous years, where you are competing between the other finalists, all the finalists, not just one. I'm wondering can you repeat once more? Why do you think like that?
I mean, as a designer personally, because I'm just like me against this guy, so it's just like one on one. If it's like it's a group of 10 people, let's say, I mean, I'm probably top four or top or bottom four. It's not that bad, I'm still having like one against 10, but this is now one on one. That's how I see things. So like, unfortunately, I wouldn't say like this guy is just meeting one of the top. Like, let's say nobody wants to fight against abedavera and I am Tom. You really like crossing your finger like, not this guy. But unfortunately, if you're facing him, you already know like, if the chances you're winning is like slim to none. I mean, I would say, because they are very good. Let's just admit it. They are very, very good designers. So this is why I'm saying this is, I would say, harder than the regular tournament.
I see, I see. Okay, just wondering, Adam and Clinton, do you have any favorites so far? Is there any designer that you think will won this year's?
I don't. So the way, actually, Clinton, I'll let you jump in. So
Okay, yeah,
I obviously have
yeah,
my
no.
opinion, but I'll let you jump in.
Well, I think the really nice part about the way the whole bracket and competition is set up is that each round is a unique challenge, unique design challenge. So it can happen in silos, right? It could happen in, like, you're going to go see something, there's a problem statement, understand that, go judge that on its own, and of course we don't know who's who, so it's anonymous. And then it's like, hey, then we'll move on to the next round, and it's a brand new design challenge. The spec is different. Um, so so I think it's okay and fair to kind of say, for me, in the last round, there was a specific thing that iamtong did with like a calendaring idea, with this little bike application that, Adam, you came up with the spec idea. That was, for me, the thing that was the best thing I've seen today so far. But it was really, really beautifully done, and it was a great concept of how you would invite people uh, via kind of a social calendaring application. And it was even kind of like not even a main screen, right? It wasn't something that was absolutely asked for, but or it was, not the home screen. So it was really, really nicely done. So I'd say that was the most impressive single kind of thought I've seen today that really stood out to me. But again, that's in the past, right? So it's cool coming into the next round, whenever iamtong is next, which is next week. You know, it'll be a different challenge, and the judges, me and myself and Adam, we won't know who's who, right? So it's kind of just, so yeah, talking about it as a discrete moment in time. I could say that with all honesty, that was the thing that blew me away the most today.
I see.
Yeah, so my thought is, so as we look at the designs, we're not told who the designer is. We're told after we've judged. Okay.
Right.
So I think that naturally doesn't really give us an opinion, right? It doesn't give me an opinion right this minute of like who, like, I think the number one seed is probably going to do really well because they're number one seed. But again, there are upsets, and we're not going into judging knowing that the number one seed is versus someone else. We're just looking at the two designs in an anonymous way and saying, did they solve the problem, and did they, are they the winner? And that's where, probably getting to what Sita was saying, is, I would say, more of the 1v1, where I would say, some of the things that designers may naturally do to try and win a competition may not necessarily hold up in this type of quick challenge, where it's like, are you solving the problem, and did you solve it better than the designer you're up against?
I
So
see.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that, Sita, when you mentioned that, you find the 1v1 more challenging in some ways. And I do understand it from I think from a competitor's mindset. If you end up going up against a very top seed, like you said, like nobody wants to face these guys because they're known to be so good. But I would say, for anybody that is competing on these types of challenges, the 1v1, the other side of that coin is that, for me at least, from a judging seat, is that even the best can miss on that day and that challenge, right? So, like, if you're going against a full pack of 10 or 12 different designers, I feel like getting to be number one out of 12, odds wise, is harder potentially than beating the best, right? Being the number one ranked person in a given hour, just because someone could kind of, like, just conceptually not nail it, or hey, it's design, right? Design by nature is quite subjective. So I love Monet, but Adam might want to see a Picasso, or Georgia O'Keeffe, right? So there's just these things that are going to hit people different too. So I'd say, next time you're in one of these, don't worry about who you're facing. Just go rock it, because you're darn good yourself.
Okay. So Adam, what type of problem that you're giving to the finalists this year? I think In 2019, I think we have one challenge, one topic, and it's progressing from each round. We are doing the desktop version for the first round. The second round, we are doing the tablet. The third round, we are doing the mobile version. What kind of problem that you're providing this year for the finalists? I think when looking at the current state and seeing there in the launch just few minutes ago, they are quite a little bit having a bold thinking and cannot describe it. It looks like it's very difficult for them. So can you explain?
Yeah, so when we do the on-site, I've tried to minimize the effort to recreate assets, right? It's more about, again, what's the design process, what are they thinking about, and then kind of building on on the initial creations, right? And what we've seen in that model is that you get the initial kind of thought process going, you get the initial set of assets created, and then all of a sudden you can have this explosion of really kind of rapid design and concepting through those multiple rounds. And especially when you throw in twists of like, oh hey, you designed it for desktop, okay, now rethink this for mobile, right? So it's almost like, oh, I got to eliminate all this stuff, right? It's bringing in the idea of simplicity, right? Because in the beginning it's like I almost had to fill the screen, I have to do all these things, and now by bringing in mobile, it's going to be, I now need to almost rethink this. And as designers, we obviously want to head towards simplicity. This year, and I did this last year, is breaking it down more into smaller, I would say, UI and UX problems to be solved within 60 minutes. Okay. And not having and focusing more on the concept side and less on the it needs to be perfect visually. Okay. And because you have 60 minutes. And that's where there's less building of on previous assets that you have. It's more about time management. It's about what's the concept that pops in your head, and are you able to come up with something and start applying that pretty quick? And are you able to apply that fast enough to defeat the person that you're going up against? We do have a couple problems. The very first problem one today, was building something, designing something for the top for website or platform. And so that one was a little more of an easier transition into the tournament because the designers have history with the brand, have history with the platform. So, there's a bit of quickness they could apply to just getting up and running. The second problem was completely different. It was something we're calling the Bikester app. And it was just a completely different problem, native iPhone, mobile. The first problem today was a desktop. And then our third problem is a completely different problem. So really kind of, switching it up and asking the designers to be creative within 60 minutes.
So okay, by saying that different round will be have different problem, is it going to be like the first round will be more like easier problem, and the second round and then the third round will be more harder?
Well, I think the goal is always to make it harder. Now, whether or not those problems are harder round to round, that could be debatable. But the goal is in my goal in a tournament like this is to make each round a little harder. Yes,
I see. Okay.
because
Sita,
yeah,
do
go
you
ahead.
have any question?
Yeah, I would like to ask Adam, what is, because this been to be doing like a bracket challenge like this for a few times, what is the common mistake of designers doing on such a quick challenge like this?
Great question. I think the common mistake is trying to u- trying. I want to say this. I would say trying to be gimmicky,
Hmm.
or trying to do as many screens. Like a gimmick to me would be, I'm going to show 10 screens, so maybe that might help me win the competition, right? Versus spending that 60 minutes on doing a really good one screen plus an action or something with two screens. Okay. So I think it's time management, and it's understanding, like avoiding kind of like trying to win over the judges. It should be focused on, I got to solve this problem, and that's going to win over the judges. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, so it's quality over quantity, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think we saw some of that in the last round today too, where it's very impressive if you can get through 6 to 8 screens. That's great. However, if you can do two, top 3 maybe, and they're really really strong and show a and conceptually solve the problem better, or they start to solve the problem better, to me that's where the time should be focused. It just shows out better. It shows out as more thoughtful at the end of the day. And I think in a 60-minute window, that's where your time is better spent.
And also, like, if the problem asks for, say, a dashboard or to solve something, and yet you do every other screen but that screen, right? Again, so focus on the problem versus, oh, I'm just going to show a lot of work, right?
I mean, I've been doing a reviewer for some times now, and I see exactly your point. Client says we want ABC, but designers providing CDEFG, which is completely unrelated. That's not what they're asking for. So yes, I can see that it's very common, like you mentioned.
Yep. And I don't know. So I don't know sometimes if that's just experience, or it's maybe not understanding the specification, or it's just a comfort level of like, I know I can do these things because this is what comes to my mind. So I'm going to create these things first, and then I'm going to go back to the problem, and you run out of time, or just an avoidance of trying to solve the problem. I'm not really sure why that is. But I mean, as a designer, I do kind of understand it. There's certain things that I may want to go focus on first. But I think in the way we do this at Top Coder, and especially in these rapid challenges, it's you got to jump in on the actual problem.
I see. Okay. Based on your experience as that already meeting a lot of company that needs a design and a UI design, uh, do you think the 60 minutes design that being provided right now is good enough to be presented into a company?
I'm not gonna give a quick flavor on that. I mean, I think it depends on, like, I'll say it this way, and I know there's some sales folks listening. I saw Russ Trottier out there earlier. What's up, Russ? And I'm sure there's others there from the top coder world as well. Um, it's all about the client's expectations, right? So it's even when we do ruxes and luxes that are 24 or 48 hours, which is obviously more time. We're still setting the expectation with the customer that, hey, these are conceptual, and they may or may not be rooted in technology guidance just yet. So if it's set up with a customer that's like, hey, this is for, for culture and fun and rapid exploration, and just to see to see a way that using external talent could really work for you, and do it in a fun way that could bring people together. Sure, then it's a great deliverable because it has other reasons why you're doing it, right? You're not after pixel perfect, finalized, go to market design here. But you can get some great nuggets and great concepts flowing really, really rapidly. And by doing that, you can showcase the power of using external talent to augment your team. So again, it's just in the way that you set it up with a customer. So that's my answer. Adam, I'm not sure if you have a different take or want to add on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think spot on. It's about expectations. I think that's probably one of the hardest things for us to get across, or even get to have a customer tell us expectations, because expectations wide range of like, I need it tomorrow, I need it yesterday, or even their experience in understanding where high fidelity outcomes like this impacts like their work streams and what they're doing. So my opinion is, and this is my opinion is like, yes, and I'm going to say no, but yes, right this minute, in that if you look at what we're doing in an hour for these, and you present this from a conceptual wireframing initial steps, then I think these are great, because it gets a conversation going, and it's a great thing to have in a meeting to talk about a designer customer's problem. Okay, where this is not good, the no side of this is if you present this as, let's go build this tomorrow, because
Yeah.
this is not part of that model. and that is where it has to be understood. If this is, and this is where I think mentally many of us need to turn a switch to say, like, this is, rapid prototyping. This is rapid, concepting. This is not, let's just go build the app because it just looks good. Like, we actually have to think about the interactions and test those interactions and understand those interactions. Are they answering the initial requirements that we're coming up with? And are we thinking about our user, not just in the 60 minutes, but let's do some actual research. But this, for me, is amazing content and amazing exploration for that process. And that's where I want to be able to educate a customer on how important this rapid designing like this can be to a product's development cycle. The issue is that when many of us, I think this is human nature, see a very pretty looking thing that looks like something you could just pick up on your phone, there's a default like, oh, it's done, or let's go do this, or that's amazing, and I just saved thousands and thousands of dollars in product development. It's like, no, this has to be part of the product development cycle. Does that make sense?
Yep. And I think that kind of advice needs to be in our finalist mindset. Yeah. So what will be happen next then? We will have like this round ends and several the finalists will be go home. And what will be happen on the Friday? Nick, can you share us with the large bracket?
Yeah. So on Friday we will have um, round 4, and this is where we'll have our number 1 seed versus our number 4 seed. So iamtong versus PereViki. We'll have our number 3 seed versus our number 2 seed, wahyu versus abedavera. And then in the lower bracket, we'll see who moves on, and we'll have them competing in the 5th round against the whoever is defeated in the 4th round. So,
How many rounds that you are expecting in the Friday on Friday on next Friday?
2 rounds. So Friday
Two
will be
rounds.
2 rounds, and Saturday will be 2 rounds.
Okay.
And each round will be 60 minutes.
60 minutes with 30 minutes judging.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I think, do you have anything to ask, Sita, to our
Um,
judges?
Yes, I mean for this third round, especially right now, this the third round currently like ongoing. Transcribe this. So what's the main reason you decided for this third round? Because this is again like looks simple, but this is actually very complicated. I'm always this is the kind of a contest that I'm always a little bit scared because it's not flashy. It's not about visually aesthetic. This is problem solving. But what was the main reason why you choose this as a theme for the third one?
That's a great question. The reason I chose this theme is because it relates to the upcoming hackathon that we have going on.
I see. So this will be finished in 6 minutes. So yeah, I mean, this is difficult. I can say, this is need to be highly functional. So I'm so looking forward once the designers come up with this in 60 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, this one's tough. You're definitely right, Sita,
Yeah.
and I think it'll be very cool to see. You know, it is more problem solving. Like we understand what the transcribe it app should do. It's in the spec.
Mhm.
Then it's really about. It almost becomes more. Yes, can you make it UI? Can you make it appealing? But really, I think we'll stand out this round, and who will be going home or moving on to to play another day to kind of try and get back into the championship. Will be a little bit of the user experience, the UX of what did you think about? Like what were some of the little nuances you thought about in only 60 minutes that you still made look good, that somebody else just kind of failed to capture or failed to pop in their brain in such a short order or short time frame. So definitely tough, but really excited to see what our designers have come up with in about 3 minutes too. So countdown is on.
Okay. I think that's all from us. We will have like the final review for the third round in 3 minutes, right, Adam?
Correct. Yep. Everyone here should be submitting. So what we're watching right now, Iqbalhood, should be probably in a minute, should be wrapping this up and get sent in. So
Okay, so we will let you go now and go to the lounge for the final review, and we will try to invite our finalists that already advanced to the next round.
that
Thank you very much, Adam and Clinton, for joining us in the live broadcast. And please give us more entertainment in the next round.
Thanks a
will
Make
lot.
it
do.
harder for them.
You guys are great. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Okay, Sita.
Bye
Yes.
all.
Yeah, I think we will have like we will have our finalists joining in a few moments. We are still
Yes.
waiting for Abedavera and iamtong to joining us. So after hearing our judge in in, in this show, uh, what do you think about the if you're participating in this final round? Will you be able to make it and become the TCO champion?
Well, first of all, you need a lot of coffee. That's for sure. You need to stay alert and my God, 60 minutes and you need to making not only it's beautiful, it's not only visually aesthetic, but it's also highly functional. I mean, that's a lot to ask and so far I've seen like the preview of our designers. It's very impressive. It's clearly it shows their talents, their executions over the years have been computing constantly in top quarter. You can see the result here, that's for sure.
Okay. So, hi Jesse.
Hey Jesse.
Time for prize
Ah,
bomb.
give
Oh
me one. I
no.
want one.
I just invited myself on the stage. Hello, everybody. Welcome to TCO21. What an awesome broadcast you guys have been doing. But I got all of these TCO t shirts here. What am I supposed to do with them? I'm going to throw it out to the audience. So if you're out there listening, here it comes. So I'm going to randomly pick someone to catch it. Here we go. Woo! All
I got it.
right. The winner
I
is.
got it.
You got it. It's Robinson. Woohoo! He caught it. All right, awesome. All right, back to the live broadcast. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. So with us now we have Abedavera and iamtong that already advanced to the next stage. Can we get them into the stage? Hello,
Oh my
iamtong and
my.
Abi. This is
Hello.
so.
Right.
How is
is,
it? How is it? Is it
is,
fun
is, is that swag from the previous top quarter tournament that you snatched on the tournament?
Yeah, this is
The
from this
glasses?
tournament.
this
What?
year?
What?
The
Oh, yeah,
sunglasses that
the
Abida Fair
sunglasses.
wearing.
Ah,
Is that
yeah. Yeah, this glass for hiding my eyes because it's already 1 a.m. here, so yeah,
oh
this
So, with us right now is Abedavera and also iamtong. They are both are the legend of the community. They have the most win at TCO with Abe 4 times and iamtong 3 times. Abe should have 5, but the first one on TCO 2007, it's you are still competing in TCC, right?
yeah, I think it's the first and the last, I think, because there's no more TCCC.
Yeah, since then you're participating at the show, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, since you have the most experiences in TCO final, what do you think about this TCO this year final? What is there anything different that is it still entertaining and challenging?
Yeah, actually, this is my first online TCO because almost back 2 years I'm not competing because uh, my
Busy.
yeah it's busy since 2018. So uh, I think it's kind of different, but still very tight. Still nervous because we challenge in person and there's a qualification like seeding round, so it's kind of new. But I think yeah, I'm just lucky for this year because I just got the replacement, because Tong and the other person is always taking the first, second, third position for each stage, I think. Yeah, but yeah, it's still fun.
It's still fun. How
Yeah.
about you, Iamtong?
It wasn't fun.
That's
It's some kind of
That's
like it's
that's a very
nervous.
honest answer. I can.
Yeah,
That's
I mean like
that's the reality check. It's not
I
fun.
think I participated in bracket tournaments for like 4 or 5 times maybe, and it's still like nervous. I mean like
Okay.
how can I deliver just like in 30 minutes or in 1 hour, something like that. So
So, I am Tong. Which one is the hardest of the topic of the challenge so far that you think is the hardest one?
for today,
Yes, for the bracket challenge.
for
So
the bracket challenge, I think the first one
Okay.
or the second one, I can really maybe first one
Yes.
the
about
communication center.
the communication
Yes. I will be
center.
very
Yeah,
careful on that one too.
yeah, because you can easily go into the wrong direction with that. Yeah, I'm still not sure if I had to compete in that law, what my solution would be. I mean, like, yeah,
Wow, really? So both of you, both Sita and you will have the same opinion about it. How about you, Abe?
yeah, I think the first one it's harder, I think, because
the
actually,
second one is like is
yeah,
more fun. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, you can put in like your creativities and stuff. There is no right, no wrong about it. As long as you solve the issue, they solve the problem they wanted.
yeah, agree.
Don't you think that the third challenge more harder because it's uh, about voice and not
No, no, the third one is from my standpoint, I think it's pretty simple. But it's up to designers to each one who can push it more to make it different. So the basic thing is that you just upload the transcript, then you get the output. That's all. What the problem? But
so that's
what you gonna do with the output? Yeah, that will make the difference between
I
each
see.
design solution.
Okay, so that's more easier for you actually rather than the first challenge, right? So the the
Mm.
the designer, the finals that competing in the first round is uh having a bad luck today.
Yeah, especially for those who won on first round, they need to compete 3 hours today, like first round, second round, and third rounds.
That's why you need to be successful in the seating challenge, right? That's why you need to be serious.
No, last year I think I had it 3 rounds in a row, and I sometimes like my brain went blank. I cannot really think of anything like what I should do, what I should decide, something like that.
I see. Okay. Uh I want to ask question because you are participating, you are competing I am song between I am infinite. This has been like a trend or maybe like a destiny because you happen to meet him at the early round.
Yeah,
What do you think about that?
I wanted to know too. I mean, like why we met so early.
I guess because there's only one I am, I guess, right? They have to
Yes,
fight for it. Only one
that's
I
what I
am.
am.
One
In
of you have to change your handle then.
TCO 18 maybe that I met him in first or second round too.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
and
meet
met again in the late round.
In the next round, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's something funny, and I think that's wow. You met him twice. Okay, Ade, have you seen your competitor screen design when uh, competing? You are competing against Iqbalhood, I think.
Oh yeah, with Iqbal.
Do you see his screen, and what do you think about it? Do you think that yours is much more better than him?
Actually, I just focus on the concept. I agree with the reviewer because they found an issue about the navigation, but I think yeah, I don't have much time to think about the navigation, and
Yeah.
I see the Iqbal Hood has a complete flow,
I
but
I actually hide the navigation. I didn't have time to put it all.
yeah, that's why we just think about the concept first. I think
Yeah.
it's better than
I mean, if
the
you
landing
can
page.
have that, that would be nice. But it's not the actual issue that you need to solve.
Yeah,
What makes you think that your design much better than your competitor?
me.
Yep, between you
Uh,
and Iqbal.
I think it's just it's about luck because yeah, I love mountain biking and I see a lot of information from my experience. So that's why I try to to visualize in in the application. I keep it simple and some information that related to the mountain biking. It's like a diamond, it's the difficulties and yeah, usually mountain biking it has different tracks and you cannot go just open the map and you jumping on the map because it's like it's
I
usually
see.
yeah, it's a kind of special place that you can visit. You can arrange your schedule. It's not that so that's why I think Adam
So this
and Clinton it's a little bit know about the mountain biking.
so
So
this is because you have a lucky day, right? Because this is the topic that you already knows about.
yeah, yeah, that's why it's a part of luck. I think.
Yep, yep, yep. How about you, Ayamtong? What do you think that makes your design much better than your competitor?
I didn't think that he said it.
Oh,
This
you're
time you
not
don't
You're
want
willing
to
the
to
be
do a
one who
review.
honest.
said it.
Okay, okay. So that's great. That's great. I hope you both can compete in the final because I want to see like the all-time champions fighting between each other in the final. So,
Uh,
thank you and good luck for the next round. I think you will be competing on the second day. You will be Iamtong will be versus PereViki, I think.
Yep.
Yep, and abedavera will be against our rookie this year, wahyu.ts.
no, okay, great.
So,
Yeah.
Indonesian versus Indonesian and Thailand versus Hungary.
I will
We
What
will
call him.
meet
what
in
is your guts
semifinal.
about this? What is your guts about this? Do you think that you can win against PereViki Ayamtong?
Oh, I don't think the thing is actually compete against ourselves at this point. Like you have to be calm, you have to be in the right state of mind. You have to
That's the
think
key, right?
fast. Yeah, just think fast and work fast. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. That's the key. I think that's the key for this tournament. If you're thinking too much about your competitor and what they can do with it, you will
Yeah,
not have time to make your self in 100% stage, right?
right.
And
Yep.
about you, Abe, what do you think about wahyu.ts? Do you know him in person?
Uh, no,
Have
I
you ever
don't.
see his design work earlier?
No, but I will focus on the challenge. I think. But okay, let me see. I will call him. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Okay then. Sita, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, how you guys preparing for the next round? Is any tips and something that you can share for other fellow members too?
For me, I actually have prepared my assets, like essential assets that would help me like speed up the production. And I don't know, nothing else. Maybe browsing to get more idea, something like that.
I was actually asking much more motivational, but you sharing the technical part now. You have sharing your cheat sheet to everyone, which is good. So, what about you, Abby? Is there something that you can share?
Yeah, maybe for tips, I think yeah, I think we need to focus on the issue. I think on the challenge. So there's no special ingredients about that. So just prepare
Yeah.
about the concept. I think
So
looking
don't
for
complicate
more
it. Yeah.
inspiration,
Okay.
something like that.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, that's a great insight. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Um, I think that's all from our side right now. Thank you very much for joining the live broadcast. I am Song and Abedavera.
Okay. Thank
It's
you,
been nice
Fajar.
to meet
Thank you,
you again,
Sita.
Abedavera.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep, after all these years, you're missing that. It's been great to meet you again. And I always love your bird. I am Tong.
Because he has no birds.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. We already reached the end of this live broadcast. We will meet again on Friday. So until then, stay healthy and see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, look at me. I'm wearing sunglasses now. Abedavera, I think, is just he's got a trend going, and maybe we'll see if more hosts in the future start wearing sunglasses. It all started with Abedavera. Welcome back to TCO. I'm sporting the top coder sunglasses right here. So you know what? All these prizes that Jesse's giving out, you have an opportunity to possibly get one of these cool sunglasses in your bag too. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. So yes, Fajar, Sita, you guys did a great job hosting. Well done. Yes, Jesse mentions in the chat. He's like, he's been researching his reality TV star questions, and they were good. They were hard hitting questions. You did a great job. Okay, guys, that does it for design. We, like they said, we will be back on Friday where we will have our next design round competition. So come on back and check that out on Friday. The schedule is up on tco21.topcoder.com. Now, coming up, we have the QA Finals show. We are going to be joined by Pikachu and Kelly, our very own Kelly. They'll be here in the studio with us to chat about that. So stay tuned. We'll be back in about, let's see, 14 minutes. 14 minutes. All right. See you then. Welcome back, folks. It is now time for our QA event. Now, these competitors have are finishing up the first phase of the competition. That phase went for 2 hours. They'll have about a 10-minute break. Then they'll have 50 minutes to do some challenging, something similar to what you saw yesterday with the SRM stuff. So I can't really explain it to you. I'm gonna let our hosts explain it. I just introduced them. All right, and this is gonna be a female power show. All females. We got Pikachu and we got Kelly, who's a top coder admin. They're gonna be hosting you guys for the next hour and 15 minutes or so. So, without further ado, let's bring these lovely ladies on. Kelly, Pikachu, aka Satya. Welcome to the stage.
Hey,
Hi
Nick.
guys. Thanks, Nick.
Hi, QA. Hey, everybody. So they're finishing up the actual bug hunt portion. sounds like. So they're going through an application called Loom, which is a video messaging tool that helps get messages across through instantly shareable videos. That's snazzy. I haven't used that one yet. Do we have any competitor screens up? All right, here's 143 Top Coder. He actually joined Top Coder in like July or something, and he's already a TCO finalist. Codejam has been around since the beginning. He's been a TCO finalist for QA the past 3 years. We actually started doing QA at TCO 2019, and he's been showing up every year since. So best wishes to Codejam. Creeya, she's been around a minute too. Let me see if I can find her profile. From Nepal. I know. Oh, she was a finalist last year too. She's been a member since 2019. Oh, so she turned around fast too. All right. Who else we got, Nick? I'm going to butcher his handle. Oh, but he's a new member too. He joined this year and earlier this year, and he's already made it to 2 different tracks in TCO finals. Nice.
Yeah, he's also a finalist in the development track, and he did compete in some of the code challenges in the QA track, and he got qualified because of them. He's a very good developer. We have a few of those.
Hope
So the
so.
past year, we had a few development challenges that we had run for writing some test scripts. So we have quite a few developers in our finalists today who had competed in those. Apart from the others who usually compete in our, bug hunts and their general QA track challenges. So he is one of our developers.
Awesome. I think for Top Coder Open, our QA track only covers bug hunts, both the
Right.
structured bug hunts and the unstructured bug hunts. So our code track absorbs the QA scripts like end-to-end testing and unit testing.
Right.
Yeah. All right. kmurti, excuse me.
So this is his first TCO?
It is, isn't it? Oh, he has a lot of wins.
Right.
2019. He really enjoys that he got when he won his first bug hunt challenge. It was $51, but like that was really impactful to him. So he's stuck with us ever since, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's always very unreal when you get your first winning. You don't believe it's true. You think like it's some sort of scam or something, and the first your first win always stays with you. I remember my father had asked me again and again, like he didn't believe until the money was in my account. He kept thinking that it was yeah, it's some sort of scam. You do come
Yeah.
across a lot of those on the internet. So it's the first your first win is always stays with you. So he still remembers his $51.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was 5. That's 5 out of the 10. And we'll get back to the other 5 in a second. But I just wanted to come on because we're introducing these competitors, yet we have yet to meet you guys. We don't know who you are. We want to know. So, Kelly, go ahead. Who are you, Kelly? Who are you in relation to this competition?
I'm Kelly McLeod, and I just work here.
You just work here.
I just work here. I don't know nothing. I'm with the expert services team at TopCoder, so I interface
Awesome.
with clients more often than I interface with the crowd.
Okay.
But I do really enjoy seeing what the community can turn around and do, and it's always a pleasure to demo that for our clients. I just kind of wish that our community could be on those calls with the clients so that way they can get the praise directly from the clients instead of me sitting here going, you did a good job, and the client was really thrilled. So
cool. So this is kind of a cool experience for you to be able to actually interact with the community members in a way. Have you run some like any QA challenges for your clients or?
yeah, when we were first standing up our QA practice back in like 2019,
Uh-huh.
I was helping Glenn and Sorab and another colleague kind of stand that up with Microsoft and testing one of their applications. That was a lot of long nights, but what we really appreciate is that as we got better, the community also got better, and they made us look good. After we solidified our processes and how we communicated to the community, how we wanted stuff done and what the client expected, the community stepped up and did it and turned stuff around very quickly. And then I also still run regular bug hunts and bug batches with most of my projects. That's just good software development lifecycle stuff,
Yeah.
where you're making sure that your deliverable actually works and works well. So.
Do you have a lot of gig workers on the QA part, QA section?
Gig work, I don't think we really have gig workers specifically for QA. It's more we will do actually just an open manual bug hunt challenge, or if it's a smaller application, the Copilot will task out a couple folks to do it.
Okay.
And Sathya, how about you? The community knows you as Pikachu. Well, let's just start there. Where'd you get that name from? Where did Pikachu come from? Or, am I saying it right?
Yeah, actually, it is just a Pokemon name, and
It is Pikachu. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I just had it was the first stuffed toy I bought with my salary, and somehow
Oh,
thought
I
that
love
would be
that.
a like name.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't think that it would carry on for such a long time. It would have such a huge impact. So it
That's
is just a
great.
name that I given when I registered, and it's there still now, nearly 12 years after that, and did turn out to be lucky.
That's so cool. And so when did you join Topcoder?
I joined sometime in 2009 March, and
Oh wow.
I was mostly working on the information architecture track.
Okay.
So, which is a part of a design track, you could say, like part of a Top Code Studio.
Oh wow.
And when the QA track started, I slowly started working on those. Like everyone in the QA track, I think I also got into it because of the Test for Success series.
Oh, test for success
I
stuff.
think everyone knows their QA thing because of those challenges.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I didn't compete much after that because I started working on private gigs. Um,
Oh.
uh, After that, shortly, I think I worked only for 6 or 8 months competing, and after that, I'm busy with our gig work actually. For
Oh wow.
last 2 years, I'm working full time on gig for our for our top coder actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
So not for a client, for our own TC.
For Topcoder. Cool.
Yeah.
So you've had quite the journey here for sure.
Yes, yes.
Very cool. So, all right, now that we know you, can you explain what's happening right now? Like, what are they testing? How does this first round, the first round which ended,
Hmm.
um, how what are they doing, and what are they testing?
Okay, we
It's a good
have
place to start.
sure. So this challenge is of it has two stages. First stage is of 2 hours long, which just ended. So we have a manual test case execution part, and then you have a bug hunt part. We have two parts in the first stage. So so once the challenge is open, the competitors have to execute the test cases which are provided. Once they complete all the test cases, then they can move on to the bug hunt phase. So we are doing only functional bugs, and so the for each bug you find the points are based on the um, severity of the bug. So if it's a you have critical, major, and minor bugs, and you have points based on the severity of the bug that you find. So at this point, they would have yeah. So I at this point, these are the points that are points or the number of bugs. I'm not sure that they have collected during the first stage. So
Okay.
now we are on, I think, a 10-minute break, and the next stage is the challenge phase. So that's
Okay.
when each competitor will be able to challenge the other competitor's bug. So
So let's
uh,
take a look at that. This is what the leaderboard looks like,
right,
going into the second part here, phase two.
right. Okay. Oh, so the first part, the left side corner, those are the points that they've got so far. So we, it looks like the challenge phase has started.
Okay.
So,
So what
so
does the
they
challenge phase mean? So
It is 50 minutes long. So let's say like your codejam, and so you could assign any of the other users bug, any of the other nine competitors bug. You could assign them one by one. Take any one bug and you try to reproduce the bug.
hmm
So if the bug is a valid bug, then you get a small number of points. For example, you may get if it's a critical or major bug, you'll get 2 points. Otherwise, you'll get half a point for a minor bug. If you're able to reproduce the bug and it's a valid bug. So in case the bug is not valid, let's say it's already been reported already, or it's maybe it's out of scope, it's not a functional bug, like maybe it's just a UI UX bug, or it's so you have or probably it's how it's expected behavior. So because of all,
Oh.
it could be any of these cases. So if it's not a valid bug, then this is where it gets interesting. So if in case it was reported as a critical bug, right, which has 10 points, and if
hmm
it turns out to be not valid, then the person who has challenged that bug gets the 10 points, and the person who reported the bug loses those points.
Loses the point. So
Yeah.
so right now we can see that youDare has the biggest bar down there, which means
Yeah.
they
He
okay.
Right. So also the points could change drastically after the challenge phase actually.
hmm
um, we could look at any of the competitor screens to see how they are going to challenge a bug.
Yeah, we can start doing that.
Do
If
the
you just
competitors
give
get
me a
to see
second.
this graph?
Yeah, I think they see a leaderboard. I'm not sure if
Okay.
it's this graph. How about it, Nick?
I'm not sure. No. Maybe if we get Glenn in here, huh? That'd be nice. But I'm sure he's running the competition. Let's see what I can pull up for you as far as competitor screens.
Okay,
Working on it right now.
so everyone should be busy challenging now. This phase is only 50 minutes long as compared to the previous phase, which was 2 hours long. So you've got to be very quick.
All right. So what are we
So
looking at here?
okay, this is codejam. Um, so you've got to assign yourself to the bug. So he's just looking at the bug. Yeah, he's moving it to a challenged. What else is he doing? Yeah, he's assigning it to himself and moving it as challenged. And
Okay.
now he's looking at the steps to reproduce, and
None
yeah, and
competitors are
this is
using Jira
how
for this.
yeah. So I think he is challenging it. He's saying that it's not validated. Oh, let's see, it's a major bug, and
Interesting. Does the severity count toward anything? Like,
yeah, the severity. So you have a critical which has 10 points,
okay,
major is 5 points, and minor is 2 points.
interesting.
Okay, so if this gets accepted, so if that was a major bug, so if it's, and he should also move the bug from challenge to either any of the correct buckets. It could be valid bug, or it could be not a bug, or it could be duplicate or whatever. And you could actually challenge the bugs one by one.
One by one.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is another bug. He's saying that it's not valid, I suppose. This is there is not an application bug. So he says this is not an application bug, and he moved it to a different bug, out of scope bug.
Mm.
This is what happened. So he's lightning fast. So we have already seen him invalidate 3 bugs. So once the reviewers take a look at it, and if they do, they agree with whatever with what the challenger says, then the point is taken away from the. See, he's moving it as out of scope. Uh, so uh,
So
so the initial reporter will lose a point, and the code jam would be gaining that point.
All right, let's move over to eisbilir, who's actually using the product Loom, and he's doing
Uh-huh.
some testing on his end. It looks like.
so
Yeah. So
during this
one.
phase,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. During this phase, the competitors are actually motivated to try to make sure that the bug doesn't work, right? Because they're trying to
Right.
knock the other person's bug out. Um,
Correct. Correct. So
that's
if
a
they
really
do
cool way of driving quality.
So if they do find that it's a valid bug, they do still get some points. It's not for a waste, but you would get only 2 points as opposed to 10 points if the bug turns out to be not valid. And you do need to reproduce the bug and see if it's correct or not. So that also takes some time. So mostly it's the speed that is important uh, in the QA, especially for bug hunts. And you also have these duplicate bugs, right? The whoever logs the bug first will get the point. So that again, you need to be very fast. So what is Nick?
That's an interesting way to validate the bugs to make sure that they're actually like bugs and not noise.
True,
Oh
true,
yeah,
true.
I'm still here. We're just taking a look at other people's screens as they come up, as you can see here. So just give me a second. I'm gonna be flipping over to another screen, but just keep talking. Just keep talking about what we're seeing here.
I'm thinking like we could do this for your our regular challenges too.
Yeah.
I just thought of it because Usually during the bug hunts, people just log in any bugs as possible, and the reviewer has a very tough time, going through the list of bugs and filtering out the valid bugs. In this way, we could give that out to the competitors, let them also do a bit of reviewing. I had collaborated for a couple of bug hunt challenges, and it did. I did end up with 500, going through 500 bugs and reviewing them. This could be a good way to, you know, make use of the community to do the part of the review too.
I agree.
And
That's one
people
of my
and discourage it
co-pilots.
would discourage people from logging trivial bugs and out of scope bugs, because it would lose them points.
And money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the amount of noise bugs is really one of our co-pilots' number one complaints when it comes to bug hunts.
Is what?
True.
It's one of our number one complaints when it comes to bug hunts that are just see how many bugs you can find. Because I don't think and sometimes folks don't really go through and check to see if the bug that they found has already been reported, so we end up with a lot of duplicates that folks need to go through.
So what are we seeing here? kmurti.
He's testing the application.
This application.
Probably he's trying to reproduce the bug, which was he's trying to reproduce the steps for a bug that he has challenged.
Oh, he's looking for SVG images. Looks like.
I want to see the bug that he's trying to reproduce.
Something has to do with an image. I'm curious what he's.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, does it accept a EPS file as well as PNG? Maybe that's what. So PNGs and JPGs work best, it says, and I guess he may be trying to maybe test the limits of it. So it says 1918 by 962. So I think that may be what he's trying to test there. But what you're saying is that this already happened. In the 2 hours, they were looking for these bugs. Now they're trying to validate them, is what you're saying.
Right.
From other people. So another person opened up something that might have said, this doesn't work. When I drag a file in here, it doesn't work. And this person's like, no, I think it does work. And I'm gonna prove it, right? Is that what's happening?
Correct. Exactly. You got it, Nick.
Okay. So it looks, yep. So he's dragging it in. He's like, okay, loaded. I'm gonna save it. Very interesting. Ooh, we got some howlings going. All right, let's go and move over to Malfoy's. So this looks different. This Kanban board looks a little bit different than the other one that we saw. Oh yeah, this is the one. It looked more empty. Is it just like one part of the board?
I know.
Oh,
He
yes.
just scrolled down.
Oh, scroll down. That's what it is.
Yeah. So he is assigning it to himself and moving the bug to a challenge bucket, and now he has to challenge the bug, like try to reproduce it, and then move it to the appropriate bucket, like whether it's valid or out of scope, whichever it falls under. So there are only so many bugs that have reported, right? So you will have to be quick so that you can challenge as many bugs as possible.
Gotta be quick.
So if one bug has been challenged and moved to the whatever bucket it belongs to, then another person cannot challenge it again. So you'll have to be quick so before all the bugs run out.
I see.
I wonder if anybody's
So
picked
he's
up on
moving
how
it
many
to out of
bugs that
scope.
you'Dare.
So these are the different buckets we were talking about. So you have the open for challenge ones are the bugs which are remaining. challenged ones are the ones that they are working on, each of the people, each of the different contestants. And if you see, we have the not a bug bucket. So these are the ones that have been challenged and they have been moved to the not a bucket. So we have not a bug, that is, we have 14 bugs in that bucket. And you have so this is your next one that is challenging. So we saw the different buckets that you can also see the number of bugs in each bucket. So we only have 27 or 23 more bugs that are still open to be challenged. So what he's doing now is he's recording the video, and while he's trying to reproduce the bug.
Oh, nice.
So
Is it
you could
required
see,
to record a video or?
right. You could see in each of those bugs they have uploaded the video of the bug, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so that's needed. So you see the attachments over there.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at someone else here. We got mancoolgunda coming up.
Okay, he's challenging. Everyone is challenging. So okay. This one just checking it. Okay, he's looking for email from the app. So he's again trying to reproduce the bug.
Okay.
So this one looks to be to do with the registration on Loom. When you
Wow,
get
so
that,
this one had like 8 steps. So in the 2 hours, this is one of the tickets that happened, right?
yeah.
One, go to Loom, sign in.
Uh-huh.
He's like, all right, I've done all this.
Uh-huh.
Verify the email.
So let's see. It's not able to reproduce probably. Let's see what he's going to write. It looks like it's
There you
okay.
go.
So he's not able to reproduce the problem. So we do have a bucket for that. No, not reproducible. So
Okay.
that's again, if it's not reproducible, then again the points are taken away from the reporter, and the challenger gets the points. So we
I,
only have 24 more bugs that are open for
how many?
uh, 24 more that are open to be challenged.
Uh-huh. So when someone challenges someone
Mhm.
else's ticket, can someone else do it too?
Right.
Or like, how does that work?
No. So before you start working on a bug, challenging a bug, you assign it to yourself. So
You
only you
sign
can
it to yourself.
work on
Okay.
it. Yeah. So you have this assignee on the screen. So assignee, you change it to yourself, and then you move the bug from open to be challenged to
Mm-hmm.
challenged bucket. So
I
people
see.
don't pick up those bugs. So nobody picks up bugs from the challenged bucket, right? Because that's being worked on by somebody else.
Right. All right, let's go check out what's happening with nursoltan.
Okay, he is one of our developers actually. Let's
Oh
see
yeah.
how he's doing the bug hunt. So I think
Oh,
codejam
so
is
he's
the
new
one
to
that,
this?
yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
okay.
Uh, so codejam is the one I think who has the most amount of experience in bug hunts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Noor Sultan had actually written a lot of testing automation scripts for us um, for Top Coder. So I think that's how he had qualified.
Okay.
Okay, he has not moved the bucket to challenge. It's still in open for challenge. Anyone else can pick it up.
Oh, anyone can pick it up still.
Yeah. So before he starts working on it, it's good to move the bucket from open for challenge to challenged. And but he has assigned it to himself, so he's done one step. And the reporter, if you see, mm, is Belir, and he's assigned
Yeah.
it to himself. Mm.
Okay. So it looks like he's attaching a video, probably to display his findings, right?
Right, right. So let's see what he's moving this bug to.
He's trying to save it.
Yeah, he's uploading
It's
the
not
video. So
work.
this
Oh,
is
there you
quite,
go.
oh yeah, it's quite a frantic face, I guess. Both the bug head and this face. It's like, yeah, so he's moved it to challenge and then he's moving it to not a bug or not reproducible.
Oh,
So
okay.
these are the different buckets you can move to.
I feel like this is a good way to learn how QA works on Topcoder. You can kind of,
Right,
you watch this and you're like, oh, it doesn't seem like too difficult, but these people are actually going really fast. Like a lot of the
yeah,
challenges don't um, don't go this fast, right?
right. So now you've got only 17 more bugs, uh, and then the challenge phase will be over.
Yeah, it looks like they have about 40 minutes left.
But I think the challenge phase won't be over much faster than that. So once you run out of the bugs, you don't have anything else to do. So would they close the phase early in that case? I wonder. Or maybe they could revisit some of their challenge bugs. I'm not sure.
All right, let's move on over to 143 Topcoder.
Okay. Usually our bug hunts are more around 24 hours at least. Uh, this one is much more shorter. Yeah. So everyone is challenging. He's moving it as not reproducible. This is a codejam's bug.
So codejam would lose points if successful, right?
Right. So we have the reviewers checking if that's the case.
Do you remember who won last year?
Last year it was codejam.
It was codejam, so he's
Yeah,
the
codejam.
defending
Yeah,
champion.
right. And he did win a lot of points in the challenge phase. So before the challenge phase, um, it was quite different the points and this year we also have points for manual test cases, right? So before we just have points for the bug hunt and then you have
Yeah.
the challenge points. Now we have points for for executing the manual test cases, so you get 10 points each for those test cases in addition to the bug points.
Oh wow. All right. So what's he got going on here?
Um,
Open for challenge.
this is another view, interesting.
Okay. So you can actually see the steps ahead.
And he can select the bug which is easier to reproduce or which has less number of steps maybe.
Yeah. So for time,
Mhm.
testing time too.
True, so you can look at the summary. That's a nice view actually.
See, you learned a little tip here too.
Right, right.
All right. Let's go ahead and see what Vinod is up to. He's going incognito. He's testing something where you're not logged in with a profile of any sort, or
Mhm.
no cookies are being
No.
tracked.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the first rule. Always try it in incognito mode.
That's the first rule.
Yeah, before we start testing, open
Nice.
an incognito window and then start your testing. Because most of the times we find something, and the developer says try it in the incognito window.
Mm-hmm.
That's like starting in a fresh slate, so you don't have your existing cookies or anything messing things up.
What does Kelly think of all this? She's still here? You know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna invite the man himself, Mr. Glenn Kozawa. Welcome to the stage, Glenn. Yeah. Can we hear you yet?
Hi,
You
Glenn.
still muted on here? Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay, sweet.
You're getting shout outs in the chat room. Everyone's excited to see you here.
That's awesome. It's a great day. It's a great day to be alive. You know what I mean?
It is, absolutely. All right, well, thank you for joining us. I'll go ahead and switch the screen over to me for a second. Welcome to the show, Glenn. You're helping running this in a way, right? Or what are you doing?
Yeah. So actually, I thought I wouldn't be here. So first of all, like a big shout out to Deepak, who's our co-pilot that's been running this the whole time.
Okay.
So he's still running it right now, and he's gonna be taking over this entire thing. So my baby didn't come yet, so I decided to just kind of help out. And and make sure things went all right. So yeah. So but I've been helping out in the background, just making sure that the board's clear, following procedures, making sure it's all fair, all that good stuff. Not that Deepak couldn't handle any of that, but I was just an extra set of eyes just to make sure it goes okay.
All right. So as far as time, I'm getting some different people in the news. They're like, oh, it's this time. No, it's this time. So how much time do they actually have at this point? This is the last phase, right? The last part of the competition?
That's a very good question. So we only have about 30 minutes left.
30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes. But they'll probably finish before then, because usually with the challenge phase, they just wrap up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It depends how long the challenge is, right? So if they had 6 hours to look at bugs, then they'll spend more time trying to challenge the bugs. But in this case, only a couple hours. Well, yeah, 2 hours of testing. There's about 60 bugs. People could go through that in a review within a matter of half that time or less.
Right.
So it'll go pretty fast. I think we're already pretty close to the end. If I check out the board, yeah, we only have about 11 tickets left to be pushed forward through the challenge phase, and yeah, it looks pretty interesting so far. So
awesome. So is there another? There's another phase after this, or is this?
No, this is it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll close this up and then we'll start the internal review on all the bugs that people reported after this, and then we'll find out the final results in a couple days.
During the award ceremony? Is that when?
During the award ceremony, yeah.
Okay.
Whenever
so
that is, that's
on
next week.
Saturday.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. We're kind of just flipping through screens, and kind of letting the crowd know what we are looking at. So I don't know if you want to hang out for a little bit and check it out.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure. Why not?
Shed some light.
Fun. Let's do it.
Alrighty. Let me. I got lots of buttons to press here, folks. So let me do this right for you. All right. So we're gonna be looking at youDare. Do you dare? Do you dare to look at youDare screen?
I dare.
Okay.
Do you dare?
I dare. Let's do it.
All right.
So we were talking about Loom, right? That's what they're testing.
Correct. They are testing Loom. Yeah, it's something that we actually been toying with, trying to use ourselves, and just like this video capability is something that we kind of want to take forward, like into the future, whether it's like through like a marketing context, working out with using like things like this for like task interviews, demos. I think overall it's like a technology and a feature set we want to integrate in different parts of Top Cutter. This is kind of like the first stage of just seeing, like what's out there, what sort of pitfalls do they come with, and is this worth actually buying off the shelf, So that's kind of like the methodology and kind of picking like this particular tool.
Yeah.
We're using it like internally a little bit, but like, yeah, it's kind of good to see, like, if we're going to take something like this on, might as well see how good it is, right? How well it works.
Yeah, you're a good way of validating the tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And youDare, he's actually not a typical like QA challenger, but I think he's done like a lot of development related things that had to do with QA that got him to this point. So it's good to see some new folks. He actually reported a good amount of bugs, and he's been pretty good so far, based off of kind of like the first review. So we'll see how he does once we get to the actual review stage.
So what do we? Oh, go ahead.
A small question, Glenn. So once when a bug is challenged and moved to one of the buckets, like not a bug or not reproducible, etc., so the competitors cannot go back and reclassify the bug. So are they allowed to do that if they have extra time?
Reclassify, I think no. So like for purposes of this competition, like once you pick it, then it kind of and that's kind of like the final. That's the final thing that we leave it at. If we allow it to change too much, it allows for too much. There's a little bit too much variability. It's hard to like manage points. Does that make sense?
Okay. Right. So once the remaining bugs are challenged, then the challenge phase will be complete, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we looking at here? So we talked about a little bit. Should we be seeing something on the top right side or not yet?
Yes, we should. We should totally be seeing some points. So I'm actually gonna let our guys know to refresh the board so they can actually see some of the scores that have been coming in.
Okay, cool.
Because there's definitely been a lot of work done, so we want to make sure that gets up there.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to show off the work. So we'll put this one up for
sounds
for
good.
a second. Okay, so youDare looks like opened up not necessarily the number of tickets, but these are points, right? So like severe tickets are worth more is what Pikachu was talking about.
Yes, absolutely. So right now you could call this like a provisional score, right? So youDare probably put in a lot of bugs that he classified as severe, but if during like any time during the challenge phase, if someone didn't really see that his rating was valid, or they had the wrong classification, a lot of those points could go down. And we saw this over like the last couple of years too. So you see someone that's like provisionally on top, but as far as like what they actually reported, it may not be as good as what it initially looks like, and it could be falsely classified. So this is where the other competitors could actually jump up ahead in the challenge phase, and once we do like the final review.
Okay, cool. And we were saying that codejam was the winner last year, right? So a little lower on the leaderboard at the moment, but this means nothing at this point.
Correct.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But it's a good indication though. If codejam was kind of like on top, then I would say he probably has a good chance of like clinching the win. If someone who's maybe like less experienced in this competition, it's kind of like hit or miss. They could be reporting good bugs, but then there's a good chance that they leave themselves open for attack, basically.
Okay. So, is there a check on the severity of a bug? Can someone say it's super severe, but it's actually very minor? Or
yeah, exactly.
That's what happens over the next week, right?
Okay. Yeah, and actually we'll probably finish the review in like 24, 48 hours. But yeah, we'll just be going over one by one, making sure we have like the right like classifications, making sure people reported correctly, making sure like the challenges were all like fair and like equitable. And we do that through a series of different reviews. So it's
Okay.
it's yeah, we'll find out more. But this is kind of a good indication of at least who reported the most. But again, like, yeah, if the more you report, you leave yourself open for people to challenge you. Of course, if you report nothing, then you can't make any points. So it's kind of that balance between making sure what we report is like good and accurate and strong, and not leaving yourself room to be easily taken down by like a challenge, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of codejam, let's see what he's up to. So have you yourself messed with the Loom application?
Yeah, I have actually. It's actually a very nice, simple, like intuitive application.
Mm-hmm.
So like at one point I was kind of worried that we may not find any bugs, but you know, our guys found bugs, so that's always a good thing.
So are we going to be sending these bugs to them? Is that part? Are they like sponsoring in a way, or do you know?
Not sponsored, but then this is
Okay.
also kind of a tool to kind of share with them.
Okay.
Share with like the support team. So we kind of did the same thing last year with like the recruit CRM tool that we use internally. We actually shared all the bugs with them. It was like really well received, and it just kind of made sure that we have like a good strong partnership and relationship with them. Anytime we have like an issue with one of our like the APIs related to that like previous application, they're kind of really responsive. They kind of help us out. Any feature requests we have, we kind of we get like better better say in like what we want to do going forward. So I'm hoping basically to build that same relationship here with like Loom going forward as like a potential vendor for us. And it's kind of and it's just kind of a good way to bring like Top Coder out there, show them like what our capabilities are. So it's like kind of like a soft way to promote more business and show the capability of the community to other people in technology and software development.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we saw that Kanban board. It had a lot of different columns, which they drag in and out of, right, to get their points counted.
Yeah, exactly. So each all the points are based off of those statuses, basically. And whoever based off whoever reported it versus looks like we're actually cleared on the board now. So we actually might be officially complete with the challenge, it looks like.
Yeah, if we go on over to isilbilir, I guess they're just kind of doing some checks here if there's nothing left open.
Yeah. Actually, let me do a little double check myself. So, yep, looks like we're cleared up. And I think we're actually pretty good to close this out. Let me give our guys a little message here.
All right. So, is there anything you could share with us? I know the leaderboard is not really showing correctly for us. Is there can you see something on the back end where you can kind of give us a hint of?
Yeah, sure. Let me see if we could give you guys like a quick rundown what's going on here. So we have a lot of bugs that people classified as not a bug, and it looks like codejam challenged a good number of those.
Okay.
Yeah, he's challenged. So like he had a good strategy here. It looks like he challenged a lot of the critical bugs, which are worth the most, which means that he could get the most points. So it looks like, and it's like he challenged youDare's bugs, nursoltan-s bugs, 143 Top Coder's bugs. So if those end up being valid, he's gonna get all those points back basically. So it looks like he's probably going to be jumping ahead pretty soon.
It looks like it is updated. So let me pull this up for us.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. Let's get this up, and away we go.
Ooh, there we go. All right, so just so you guys know what you're looking at, so this on the top left here is from the first phase. So like whatever bugs are reported is, as you already know, youDare was kind of on top. codejam is sort of in the middle. On the right-hand side, these are points that people lost versus points that they gained. Red being bad, lost. Green being good, gained. So you see there, youDare lost almost 60 points. So he lost almost like
Wow.
60 out of like 80 points in the bug challenges. It looks like a lot of those went to codejam and 143 topcoder potentially.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, so that's going to change up the final standings pretty significantly if all those are, you know, like correct and valid. Now at the bottom here, we call like valid bug points. So if they did challenge the bug and the bug ended up being, you know, valid, we still give them points for actually testing a bug. So they get like 2 points per bug that they test. So you get some like incremental points for testing a bug, which is, you know, it's good. It's good to make sure that, like, you know, people are validly checking it, and if it's correct, you still get points for actually checking it.
And so, would you say that it makes sense to go after someone like youDare, seeing as he is like has that many points off the bat?
Yeah.
Do you think people kind of go after?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's critical to go after the person that's ahead. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, I think you said this last year, but like, yeah, you just put a target on your head every time that you're out in front, because of course, if you don't challenge that person, then they're probably going to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to challenge the person that's ahead. So that's the general strategy. I mean, if you reported all great bugs, then, you know, then he's just great. But it looks like here, yeah, codejam is going to take a lot of those points, and provisionally, it looks like he could be on top here.
Oh boy! But again, like you said, there's a week of testing or of reviewing, so this isn't official yet.
Yeah, this is not official, but it's very indicative so far.
All right. Sorry, Pikachu.
It's like every bug does get challenged in the end, right? So it's not just youDare's bug as such. So all the bugs that were reported will be challenged by one person or the other. So we had around 60-70 bugs reported. So all of them were challenged during the challenge phase.
Oh, sorry. Was that a question for Glenn?
Oh,
no,
sorry
no.
about that.
It is
you're
just
sorry about that. Got distracted.
So, we got a question in the chat from Malfoy's if they can confirm that the challenge phase has completed or not.
Yes, it is complete.
All right. There you go, Malfoy's. Challenge is complete. And we also have another question, and this one comes from Swap Neil. And they ask, can someone throw some light on this? If Challenger A puts a label to a particular bug as invalid, but another Challenger B thinks that it is a valid one, can the same bug be re-challenged? If not, why can't we implement this as a standard rule in bug hunts?
Yeah, so when we're talking about a competition, competitions have to exist within a predefined like set of rules, right? And for the most part, those rules have to be relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
So if we kind of like built something that was, you know, you challenge something and then you can re-challenge it, and then someone says, why can't I re-challenge and challenge the bug anyway? So you get to like this kind of like vicious loop where everybody wants to like recheck everything.
Right.
So as far as like simplicity and like for like a competition, you know, going after, you know, things only once and, you know, kind of doing that to like completion is kind of like the simplest approach. So can they be wrong? Like, yes, they could be wrong, but that's why we still like review the bugs like afterwards.
Right.
But then like, how would you develop a fair system of challenging like and re-challenging? It gets a little bit more complicated. You know, can we do something like that in the future? Like maybe. But then, you know, the more complicated these things get is like, you know, does anybody want to play the game with like, you know, 100,000 rules? Like, no, right? We want to play the game with like 10 very clear rules and makes it more fun. You know, no one wants to play a game with like 1,000 rules.
And there is such thing as a bug that occurs intermittently. Like you don't know what third factor is out there that's causing it to happen that you're not capturing in its steps to reproduce. So, you know, you could have something that one person's doing that the other person isn't. I mean, like a ad blocker could cause that. So you don't really know. And sometimes that can just perpetuate that back and forth. to Glenn's point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it looks like we are wrapping up here. There you go. Swapnil says thank you. Thank you, everyone, for answering that question. Okay, any last words as we close out our QA show? You guys
All the
good?
best.
I look forward to seeing everybody next year.
Yeah, in person, huh?
Hope so.
Pikachu, you're saying all the best to
All the best
everybody?
to all the finalists and in all the tracks. So
Awesome. And Glenn, thank you for hopping on right there at the end and explaining a lot of that to us. So we appreciate
absolutely.
Have fun trying to get sleep here on out.
Sleep? What's that?
Yeah,
It's
same
TCO
here.
week. We don't sleep.
Glenn
And
doesn't sleep anyway.
Glenn's about to not sleep for a while, having a baby.
that's
Gonna be waking up at all hours of the night. Okay. Well, we are going to be wrapping up the show, and in about 30 minutes or so, I believe, is when it's scheduled. We're going to have our marathon folks come back in. We are in the final, I believe, 30 minutes of the competition. Again, they've been going for 24 hours. So we'll wrap it up with the team, and we'll also have maybe some of the competitors come on the show, and we'll interview them, see how they felt about it. All right. Well, until then, we'll be signing off, and we'll see you in a bit. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. It's me again. I figured before I get the marathon host up here, I would have another prize bomb opportunity. So if you're in the chat waiting for the live broadcast to begin again with our amazing marathon team, it's your chance to win a t-shirt So I've got a great t-shirt here for you. So if you would like to win it, please raise your hands. I'm going to throw it out to the audience because, I can totally reach you through the screen. I know you're going to catch it. It's going to be amazing. So here we go. Comes the shirt. And the winner is going to be... Oh, it is ChinVib66. You just won a TCO t-shirt just by being here. So congratulations to Chin. Oh, I just lost your name again. You just went up. Congratulations. You won a shirt. ChinVib66. Congratulations, Chinmay. Awesome sauce. Okay. Yeah, my webcam, I really hope it survives this TCO. I'm getting a new computer after. All right, Nick. Take it away. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jesse. All right. Congratulations to you, whoever won that awesome prize pack. Welcome back to the show. We are going to be covering the last bit of marathon here. I will be introducing to you. You might remember him from yesterday. We got Renat, a.k.a. Gorinich. We have Sergey, Bird of Preru. But new to the show this time around, we got Dimitri here, and I hope I always get it wrong. It's Dimka Diamond? Dimka D. I don't know. He's looking at me weird. But all right, we'll figure it out. He'll correct me once I bring him on stage. Guys, take it away. Tell us where we're at in this marathon competition.
Hello, Top Coders.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the last half an hour of our competition. That's what the match we're having here.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
24 hours straight. You know what? Even watching that was like running a marathon. You can look at the Dimka Dimon right there. He is about just like to fall off his chair. Like it's 4 a.m. at his time. And if he does it, just don't judge him. He will be absolutely in his right. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Dimka Dimon and to Jackie Crooney and to Tamiran and to KPHMD for that problem that they brought to us. So Dimka, thank you so much. That problem turned out really well. And the way how we can see that we don't see, after a lot of effort being put into the problem, we don't see those like very equal scores of the contestants. Means it's not a it turned out to be not a trivial problem. It's a very simple one. Just you go, you pick up the coins, and just don't step on the wrong stuff. Like what can be simpler? But indeed, even after a lot of effort, we still see that even a good solutions from the bottom of the leaderboard have like much lower scores than the top solutions on the leaderboard. So what is complicated in this problem? So what we probably should discuss right now a little bit is the current stage of the leaderboard. Is like what is going on, and then we maybe like can start sharing, okay, like what are our ideas about, hey, how we would solve this problem, or like what would be the most complicated in solving this problem, why some contestants are actually not having the same solutions as the others. So on the leaderboard, we had a very intense competition. So multiple contestants had been working many hours, I think, with small breaks on taking to sleep. I don't know like how much, say, Saika had been sleeping, or I don't know, just slept just a few hours. The CatalinT actually reached a really high score on the problem. Oh, look at that. His last submissions. Oh no, his last submission is just like one. That means that we are having a lot of like submissions right now, just like last minutes of the match. So many contestants used various strategies. Like someone just like slept a few hours. Someone like CatalinT reached pretty high score like around like 12 hours ago, and then he took a break, and then the other contestants were like catching up, and now he's trying to work again and submit more solutions. There are there are various strategies going on. Like right now, we know that some of the contestants trying to show everything what they can, like while on those like last hours of competitions, while the others kind of like pulled back and maybe like in the last half an hour may actually submit something that would greatly improve the scores. And this is the trick. That's the trick. You never know, even if you're standing pretty high on this leaderboard, you never know if someone would not jump up and just get nearly equal to you. Sergey, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna see much changes in the leaderboard in this last half an hour?
I'm really curious to see.
Oh, you're muted right now.
I'm really curious to see how
we cannot hear you. You need to unmute.
Oh, I can hear him.
Oh.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm saying I'm really curious to see how to now. And for me, it feels very risky to submit in the last moment because you can have really brilliant solution if holding off. But because of some small technical problem, you probably can get a 0 score in the last moment and you have no time to fix it. What do you think?
That's what we're seeing right now. So we if you scrolled over the leaderboard for the last like probably 5 minutes, you could see at least several submissions who had been like scored just 1. That basically means that it's just either being currently processed or there is some kind of like technical difficulty going with them there. And that's something.
Well, I see the CatalinT is back to the second place. Oh, he was first, but now he's back to the second at least. So he corrected something.
Was it him corrected something? Yes. Yeah, his last submission was probably like worse than the previous one. So like he has fixed something that
yeah, maybe he's trying something different and looks like it didn't work. So what I saw was CatalinT he catapulted to the first place. He had a very strong lead of about 10 points, maybe 94 to 84. 84 was the closest. And everyone else was trying to catch up. And then I saw W Light also reach around 93. And after he did that, he actually reduced his score. So I believe what he did was to submit a partial solution. So he only solves some of the cases and he just does nothing or gets a score of 0 for other cases. And I believe he's doing that in order to test his solution for all the different cases and just to see how he's doing. And also he doesn't want to reveal his true score because as soon as you do that, people will go, aha, so you can do a lot better, so I'm going to try a lot harder. And I also know other people are doing the same thing. So Psycho and maybe Tourist as well. They're actually trying to reduce their score. They don't want to give away too much information. So what we're going to see now in the last half an hour or so, everyone will start submitting and we'll see the leaderboard change dramatically. So it's going to be very exciting.
Do you think this huge difference in the score between first place now and the last one is because of the very different approaches or just because people holding off the score?
So it's a combination of things. So there are different approaches being used, and some people have found a number of tricks. Well, others haven't found all the tricks. They might be, you might have a base solution without using everything that you can. So there's that difference, and there's also people intentionally reducing their score.
That's a great point. We know that when the marathon is going just for like 24 hours, it's not only like solving the problem event. It is a competition event. you need to beat the other opponents. You need to be better than the other opponents. So all sort of tricks to like trick them and like confuse them on where you are. These tricks are being used. And we know that there is various ways how you do it in your solution. You can just like put some, you can put some little fix that would reduce your score basically on every single test, and it's very hard to catch. But on the other end, it's much harder for the submitter to evaluate where you are. But what some of the contestants we know actually using, they purposefully like break down the test like in certain categories, and then saying, hey, like we just performing only like if the test satisfies certain condition, but like if
that's right,
something else, we just like produce zero, like we don't do anything. And
but the provisional testing we have now is running on the very few test cases. I believe it's like 50.
It's only
maybe
50
1,000
cases.
in the final. Correct. So
Yeah.
do you think it's valuable to test now like different test cases in this provisional testing?
Oh, probably
yeah, that's
right. Yeah.
That's right. There's a lot of testing going on at the moment. And in fact, this will probably decide the winner, because towards the end, testing is the most important thing, because the final solutions will be tested on 5,000 cases. So you really got to test your solution on a variety of different cases. So we've got the grid size that can vary. We also have the ratios between the coins and the spikes. They can vary a lot. So you really got to test all the different combinations. So I know some competitors have quite sophisticated framework, a testing framework where they run thousands and thousands of test cases. They record the best result, and they actually keep the results of their past submissions. And then they evaluate their current submission against their past submissions and find what the score is. So that gives them a lot more robustness for their solution, and they get a more accurate result that way as well.
While we were talking, I just saw that W Light submitted his submission, and he jumped immediately at least like 15% on his scores. Now he is number 3, but with a tiny difference from CatalinT and Psyker. So given that the final scoring will be on a much larger data set, which may have a little bit different, there is always a noise. There could be always a little bit like different representation of those like smaller cases or case categories in that final data set. These results may easily change just even if they're being left like that. So like without any changes, just due to some like shuffling at the end on a bigger data set, we can easily see any one of them, any of those top 3 contestants being winners. And I'm sure that anyone who is currently trying to hold back is trying to remove all those like checks and like handicaps from their solutions and put down everything what they have.
That's right. There's only about 16 minutes left. And so we're getting really close to the end. So now's the time to submit your best solution and make sure it is your best solution, because I know people in the past have accidentally submitted their second best solution, or a solution that had some bugs, and they really paid for it. So yeah, that's pretty important. So currently we have the top 3 within 1 point, which is really close. And all of that
the typical marathon match final results, when everybody is very close and only the final testing figures out who is the best.
And we know that in this problem, like as we learned basically in this problem of Ninja picking up the coins and stepping on various like spikes on the way, the amount of coins that you can get at the end actually can vary a lot, depends on like small elements of the strategy. So even good solutions like with similar scores might actually differ a lot on each single like separate test. And that means that when we rerun these solutions on larger number of tests, like this, the changes of the scores may be noticeable. And this we actually would expect. I wouldn't be surprised if like at least like 1 or 2% up and down we'll get when we move from provisional to system results. So that means that nothing is resolved yet.
That's a very good point. Even within one seed, there's a lot of variance because, there's variance in the dice that can go either way. If you throw a random, there's 6 different locations where you can jump to. And also hitting a spike is a very violent event, very dramatic. So if you collected 50 points, you're up to 50 coins. You've got 5,000 points. But as soon as you step on a spike, you go all the way down to 2,500 points, which is a massive difference in score, and it takes quite a long time to make up for it. So yeah, it can really go either way, and there's definitely a lot of variance in this competition.
We probably should remind to the viewers that they're getting scores by picking up the coins, and they get addition of the scores, like plus 100 points per coin. But when they step on the spike, the scores divided by 2. So it's way easier to lose the scores than to gain them.
Also, as soon as your strategy, even if you write like perfect, like if the two contestants write 2 equally strong strategies, but those strategies just differ just a little bit by basically like 1 step. Like when say 2 equal situations, one jumps right and the other one jumps left or something like that. So you throw just a little bit of different dice or something like that. So small difference in strategies changes the whole setup on the board for all your next steps. And that means basically the score that you get on a single test, very stochastic. So like, because whatever even if your strategy is as good as the other ones, it doesn't necessarily going to show very close results on the same test. There is some type of like a butterfly effect when a small deviation in actions result in a huge difference in a final test valor. So we are basically like at the last 10 minutes of submission. So like anyone who has thought about anything and they have already implemented that in their solutions, and they're trying to submit. I see that CatalinT is trying to still submit his last ones, submissions, and maybe like some last polishing results. But basically, any type of ideas that we would share now, they won't have any time to implement. So probably we should start to like discuss what would be the good strategies to solve that problem, and then we can bring some of those some of those contestants on stage and ask them directly, like whether we were right or wrong, because they are the champions. We may not even know like all those potential tricks that they tried to implement. So who wants to start? Like Sergey, how would you like approach this problem? Like, what do you think would be something in mind, like for you, if you're trying to solve it?
Oh, it's a good question. Apparently, knowing our position, our current score, and what dice we hold in the hands, for a few steps we can predict and plan how we move and to know exactly what's going to be the result. But then, yeah, probably. So we know the probability, the relative probability to get different dice and the concentration of coins and spikes, so we can forecast the chances to get or lose the scores. I kind of have the idea of the direction where it should move, but I don't really have the good algorithm in my head. I would ask Dmitry whether he has some favorite approach to this problem as the author of the problem.
Yeah, Dmitry, what would be the factors that you would try to keep in mind when you try to compose them and you're like good
Yeah,
attempt
okay.
approach.
So you got to remember, I'm just a writer of the problem, so it doesn't actually mean I'm a good solver of the problem. But I do have some ideas of how you can approach it. So obviously the most basic thing you can do is just a greedy approach. So just make moves that avoid hitting spikes and choose a move that is more likely to collect a coin. And if you can't avoid a spike, then you probably want to stop, because you have that option of stopping the solution and just taking the money that you've collected. Because
So
if you
basically,
don't
like your
stop,
solution would be just including just one spike, or like say 0 spikes.
yeah, so if you have 0 coins collected, then you can hit as many spikes as you want, because 0 halved by 2 doesn't change your score. Some more complex approaches would involve multiple steps look ahead. So you could do some Monte Carlo playouts. You run these simulations, and then you collect statistics on which dice you should be playing, thinking multiple steps ahead. And you can also simulate which dice you will receive and how you'll play them in the future. So that could be useful. Another thing you could do is you can divide your dice into bad and good dice. So the bad dice are the ones that are the most random. They're the ones that you have very little control over. So the random dice, the odd and even dice, they produce many possible results. And you probably want to get rid of them as quickly as you can and sort of collect the good dice. So they're the ones that are more predictable. So these dice just produce a single value, so you know exactly where you're going to land. So you want to keep them until you're very desperate, until you really need them. The other thing you might be thinking of is looking at the cells and dividing them into bad and safe cells. So safe cells are those cells that you can go to and you can escape from without dying. No matter what the dice you get, you'll be able to sort of run away from those cells and land in another safe cell. The bad cells are those where, once you get there, there is a high chance that you will die in the next step. So you probably want to avoid those bad cells. And so in this line of thought, you could find safe cells that form a single line or a single rectangle. And what you want to do is try to reach those locations. And actually, I've seen CatalinT's solution was doing that. So you reach this set of safe cells. If they're in a line, then you can be jumping within that line, so backwards and forwards, and you're guaranteed to stay safe. And then once you get a good dice, you can sort of go for a little trip to collect some coins and then come back to that safe set of cells and continue doing that. So that will make sure that you avoid the spikes.
Thank you, Jimka. I'm just looking right now on the leaderboard. Yes, we have CatalinT submitting solution, and we have Diver19 who hadn't been submitting for quite a while, and he's trying to like jump back into the competition. Yes, he's like for the last hour he's trying to submit at least like several type of submissions with the tricks, but he missed around like 10 hours or before. So like his previous submissions was like 8 hours ago. No, like it was. But I'm I'm already like it was like 10 hours ago. So and then he's trying to like come back and catch to the first positions. So it is talking about like how intense it is right now to like making those like last submissions and making sure that you're not submitting something that actually fails the final test. That would be like upsetting, especially if it was someone like from the top. So, and maybe like talking back to the approaches, yes, I was thinking a lot in the line like what Dimka was you presenting. I would start with some very like general consideration that imagine like absolutely infinite board like of those like coins and spikes, and with approximately like equal density everywhere. So there is no like favorite locations in this board, and there is no like really bad locations in this board. So in that case, you can collect the coins. If you hit something, you have your score, but then you start from the half of the score. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from the half. So you can continue basically like in a new place where it was the same as the previous place. So you continue collecting this point. So at the end, when you hit the next spike, you'll have 1.5 of the previous or kind of like the previous result. So you'll get again the half. So now you have already 75% kind of like of the previous accumulation. Then you accumulate it again. And if you think about where does it converge, it converges to 2. So basically it converges to like after infinite attempts on doing that, you will get the maximum result of what you would get via like a greedy approach, like single greedy approach without hitting a spike, but double of it. If you put the same thing on the limited board, then your approach is not going to be infinite, because you start like depleting the board. And also on the limited board, you can like, if it is board big enough, if it's small enough, yes, it is just like you basically have to greedily explore this specific segment of the board. But if the board big enough, then you have kind of like rich area and poor, like area that are rich on spikes and poor on coins, and areas that are again like poor on coins and rich on coins and poor on spikes. And according to that logic, you need to start with the areas that actually reach on spikes and try to like get something on them first, regardless of how many spikes you're actually like hitting, with the idea never returning to them again. And then you kind of like moving into like richer area, and you're picking some area that is the richest one, but where you're coming to with a good start before. So kind of like all the other kind of like rest of the board you kind of like use as sort of like the way how to get a good start on the final kind of like greedy dinner. And the way, of course, how you manage your greediness, yes, there is a lot of how you like pick those coins, because probably which coin to pick depends on, of course, like what dice do you want to use. The dice have various values, and of course, like you want to have something in your hand after that good that would allow you to come back. So maybe like even consider, hey, do you still have a dice to like come from that position somewhere, like if you go there? So you can use probably it is better to pick up the coins that are already in a so if you have a choice between like picking up the coins where there is many neighboring coins versus picking up the coins where there is like less neighboring coins, where you already picked a lot of coins, maybe it's better to actually pick the coin where there is less coins around, and then like come back to the richer areas around. And then using any type of opportunities with like all this, like as you said, that if you see a line, for example, say of like 11, for example, spots where you can go back and forth, and especially like for the cases when there is many dice allowed, then you can just go back and forth until you basically make your set of the dice perfect. And this is something we could probably like see on some of the big boards, and maybe like where with sort of like medium amount of like spikes, where there are this type of lines. When you jump on this line and go back and forth, then you like perfectly optimize your dice set, and then you go like explore somewhere. Maybe like there is also the case when you can already pre-match, sort of like as you said, basically pre-match your kind of exploration around. with the dice that you have, like that allows you to more or less safely return to like one of those like places where you can accumulate more dice. So there is a lot of potential options there. But what I see is that we have CatalinT right there in the green room. Should we just invite
Yeah, the
him?
timer reached 0 and the match stopped.
And the match stopped. The match stopped.
So the competition is over, and we have CatalinT in the lead at the moment. Congratulations.
Congratulations, CatalinT.
Followed by W-Light and Nika, and we're still waiting for Psycho's score to appear. So,
and the last Saliper's submission as well, he was also pretty high in the top. So it depends on if he wanted to like make a big change in submission. Maybe he's still gonna jump somewhere high enough. So, but 93% on that provisional score. Yes, of course, everything can change when the submission from Psycho comes and when there is a final system scores, and it's going to be tested on many cases after that. But still, it's a great performance, and at least like congratulations on this provisional stage. Thank you. Oh, we have everyone else too.
oh, hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
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 Welcome.
Well,
you're looking fresh.
Looking fresh, as if it hadn't been like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, Saka, have you slept
I'm more
well
tired
this time?
from watching you.
Yes.
I slept for 7 hours, I think. And I played a lot of Tetris during the contest.
I hope we picked some really good like screenshots of that. Were you at least winning in Tetris?
Wait.
Were you winning?
No, I suck at Tetris.
I remember the last year Psycho told that please no more 24 hours finals. So how does it feel now? Do you getting used to them?
Well, not really. I still hate those. And for some weird reason, on-sites 24 hours work way better. Like it's really hard to get yourself motivated when you're stuck at home and during 24 hours competitions. I think.
Okay. I agree with that. It's harder at home for me.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's definitely very hard.
Okay, so what do you think about the problem first? So, like, did you like it? Was it better than the last year? Psycho, do you like pizza? Modern pizza?
So I hope someone else can, like, my thoughts are going to be pretty negative, so I'm happy to give mic to someone else.
I have more positive thoughts. I can take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe because you're first.
No, I mean, okay, so first off, like the variance is huge in this problem. So I guess realistically, just to get it off the bat, realistically top, yeah, a lot of people have a shot at winning. So for this problem, what I actually enjoyed, I think out of all the on-site final problems, it was the easiest to parse and the hardest to have like a bug in. Like, just reading it, it felt very, very intuitive. So that's what I like. So compared to like, the pizza problem, which again was a great problem, but it was much more intimidating. Geometry everywhere, very easy to get a 0 score. Here, this was much harder. And the second point is, I think it had a big challenge in understanding when it's worth to continue after getting a spike. So at some point during the problem, you had to decide, it looks like I'm gonna hit a spike. Should I stop now or should I continue with the thought that I'm gonna get more score in the future? And this was the hardest problem for me. Like I spent literally 24 hours thinking about it and I still suck at this part of the problem.
So it looks like it was a problem that was reasonably easy to start, because sort of like it's pretty easy to write something greedy that would gives you okay score, but then you need to like figure out some good ideas about it. So what would be, say, like your top one or like three ideas that you think actually helped you to get that score?
Okay, but
sure. Anyone. Let's just throw them in. Like I suspect that the ideas
Yeah,
could be a
maybe
little bit
let's
different
go
too.
one by
Let's do
one
the
and
round.
yeah, do a round table.
So I think there's only a single idea. You just have to calculate the safety for each cell with like the set of movements that you have to your disposal at each time, and you can pre-compute all of that.
But do you can put this safety of that cell given the safeties of the other cells that you will go from there? So only one step ahead or like more steps ahead?
Infinite steps ahead, pretty much. Almost next to infinite. So this is the part that I hate about the problem, because in a way it's straightforward. It has one tough problem which can be solved by dynamic programming. You can, because spikes are static, you can essentially, and with 6 dices you have 13 or 14,000 of states, and this is enough to fully solve dynamic programming problem where you can approximate chance of hitting a spike anywhere in the future. So I spent like 16 hours not wanting to code that, and then I coded that within the last 3 hours. And then
And how did that improve your score?
Around 8 or 9%. And
Okay.
and after that, I was able to throw out pretty much all of the hard-coded constants, because it solved pretty much every other problem. And then suddenly my solution has this part and almost nothing else.
So what else was missing?
What else was missing? Like something was missing, given that it's still not 100% there on the board.
What did other people do as well? I'm quite interested.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think it's not realistic to get 100% anyway. There's a huge variance because you have to keep going even when you can hit a spike sometimes, because your expected score is going to be higher. But if you hit a spike then and someone else doesn't because you pick another direction or another thing that has the same probability or even worse probability but just got lucky. So yeah, there's a huge variance. That was what was very frustrating for me. That hitting a spike was like, it's like the penalty is very high. And it's the same solution. Sometimes I run the same solution, and with a tiny variance sometimes I would score like 4 times the score, or like a quarter of the score. It was changing so much. It depends. Some of the seeds are like easier, where you have a lot of easy spots, enough dice that you can play safe. But for example, seed 2, sometimes I would score like 1,500, sometimes 5,000. But you never know. So yeah, it's.
So I guess if.
At the end, my approach was just running a bunch of simulation, a lot of simulation, trying to get some heuristic. I was trying to get rid as fast as possible of the random dice because, well, they come all the time and it's easy to get stuck with them. I was getting rid of the stay whenever I could as well because those ones are just useless, basically. I mean, towards the end, probably maybe you want to keep them, but I didn't even bother doing that. Whenever I'm not on the spike, I would just throw it away to get another option. Yeah, I tried some heuristic and simulation, and well, obviously didn't work as well as CatalinT or Finals. So I'm not sure it's very interesting.
Thanks for that. Anyone else? You want to share your ideas, approaches?
Oh, I don't have anything like too interesting, but I think there are a couple of things which are very reasonable things to do. Like, for example, always using the stay dice when you get it, which seems pretty obvious, but I got it not immediately, and this gives surprisingly big improvements. Also, basically, the expected. Well, I didn't get into this dynamic programming stuff, so I tried to just simulate a few steps ahead. Or not simulate, but compute the best expected value a couple of steps ahead. And for that, you basically can just add a random dice every time instead of just looking into every possible case, which allows you to look deeper without losing much preciseness, because the expected step of all the dice combined with their weights is basically the same as the step of the random dice. So again, pretty simple idea, but I think it helped me quite a bit. Yeah.
CatalinT, I think it's you left. So what were
Sure.
your actual ideas?
Yeah, actually, it's very similar to Diver's solution. So I actually started like when I saw this problem. If it wasn't for the randomness, like if you knew all the dice in advance, for example, you could have thought about beam search maybe. But for this, I just did look ahead. Like I almost kind of took it as a two-player game where you choose an action and then the opponent does the random part. So I kind of did this like min-max, basically look ahead search. And basically every step I'm looking ahead up to 4 steps. Similar to Diver, I'm using stay whenever I can. And I always assume that I'm gonna get the random dice as a refill, except for the number of dice equals 2 or 3, sometimes I simulate the first dice. So the very first look ahead, instead of assuming I'm gonna get the random dice, I assume I'm getting every single one of the 12 dice. And this gave some noticeable improvement for the number of dice equals 2 and 3. And honestly, I just started with this and I just hacking. So it's like ultra hacky. Then I had like a bunch of constants, like if the more than 4 dice, then give a bonus if using the random dice and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, at the end, the limit, I'm curious how it was for other folks, but the limit for me was literally the ability to test using the instance, which was the top order instance was big because we weren't allowed to use any other instance. But at the end, like trying to use 5,000, 10,000 seeds, it took like 10, 15 minutes to test a single seed. So this was, towards the end, this was kind of the bottleneck for me.
Wait, you used 5,000 tests?
5,000 to 10,000.
Wow. So how many minutes was per run?
I didn't fully use the time. So like there were, using time was a mess. So towards the end, actually, I just decided to use 9 seconds, even though maybe I could use 9.7, but I just wanted to be safe. It took like 10 minutes maybe for 5,000 towards the end.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a question. How did you manage the time? Because that was another thing that was a bit frustrating. Is sometimes I would just give up really early, so it was very hard to actually target and use those 10 seconds on some of the seeds. And I try to adjust, try to get some formula to see like how much time to spend based on if I feel it's gonna be a complicated problem, like complicated seed or not. But nothing really worked at the end.
Yeah, I'm doing something very silly. I'm just while I have time, I'm doing deep look aheads, and when there is like 25% time left, I'm doing smaller look aheads, which are very fast. And I don't know, this kind of works. I don't know. It just seems that it doesn't really matter. Like if you look deeper, then it yields better results. So yeah, I guess the more you can do it, the better. And I couldn't find a good spot when to use it. Besides, we could just use it while you have time.
So besides the strategy of like how you were solving the problem, like what was your strategy just like on managing your efforts? Sort of like when did you plan sort of like, hey, I'm gonna plan to work like this couple hours and I'm gonna sleep those couple hours, or do you I will like, hey, I'm gonna walk here, reach a result, and then, for example, take a break, see where the other ones are, and maybe like not do anything. So anything on like how did you do this time management? There's 24 hours. There is something to decide when you work versus like how you distract yourself. I know Saika was playing the.
I think, as Cyril said earlier, it's actually hard to have a schedule at home because when you run out of ID, well, you have plenty of other things that you can do. You're not stuck. Like if you're on site, you're kind of stuck anywhere, nothing left to do. So it's probably. I mean, I've never done the top quarter 24 hours, but I've done a competition 36 hours when I was younger. And they try to prevent you from sleeping during that competition. So you get 2 hours of sleep in those 36 hours, but it's much easier because you have other people next to you that are doing the same thing, and you have not much else to do. But at home, well, sometimes I hear my son crying, and well, I rather going see him and play with him than try to tweak some parameter that doesn't work anyway. They try to tweak for hours. So no, I didn't have a good schedule. I tried to work as much as I could on it, but yeah, sometimes I just needed to take a break anyway.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead.
I mean, now I already said that for me it was incredibly hard to stay motivated. I was like, to be fair, I was really motivated for around 4 hours till the end when I decided I'm implementing the dynamic programming thing. But before that, it was really hard, I think. Like, you don't really feel the time pressure as well. Like, probably the best idea is to treat it as an 8-hour contest at the start, and then you have 16 hours left.
Should it have been like 8 hours instead of 24 hours?
Well, this problem was fine for 8 hours. I don't think it was complex enough for 24. Last year's was really, really good for 24 hours.
Okay, we're gonna make it more complex next time.
Or maybe coffee just goes away and we get back to 10-hour finals.
I'm really looking forward to it. Everyone is missing those. I'm really glad for that opportunity to kind of like peek into your private lives. You know, like we had been like flies on the walls, like watching you like in your home environment, sometimes seeing the kids, seeing the wives, seeing some like, you know, like someone sleeping on the sofa, like seeing the color of the socks, like seeing lots of like interesting things in a way. But and this provides with a lot of experience, like experience too. But at the end time, we're all missing, hey, like just like when you come in there, we sitting there straight in the same time zone, say like 8 to 12 hours straight, and we can all like watch youDare like on a scene, and probably like walk together and also continuously discuss it instead of just like meeting once in a while on this online chat. So that's hopefully it's going to happen next year. We were actually like looking at trying to do it this year, and it was kind of like decision in the mid. Yeah, it's not going to happen because like we were hoping that the COVID was going to go down and like everyone was going to go in person. I'm sure we will get back to normal at some point because we are missing those good things. So, how do you feel overall? Like, are you like tired? What are your next plan?
I should do some workout.
Are you gonna go run, or you're gonna do like some
No.
in-house exercise, or
Like,
play Tetris?
No, I played enough Tetris, but I'm doing my physiotherapy stuff, and every day I'm exercising for 30 or 40 minutes to finally fix my posture after 15 years of programming. It's not really visible here, but it's getting better.
We're thinking about there are some kind of like standing, like like stands where you can like just stand on the code, like on the higher.
Oh, I have a standing desk, but I'm not using it right now.
And also sitting on a large ball. Very helpful, but it's very annoying too.
I'm just wondering, how did you guys prepare for the competition? Did you do any practice or anything like this?
Nothing.
Yeah. Like in the first two missions, I had like an equaling score, and it was because I had the file named incorrectly. So this was my level of preparation at the beginning. I basically forgot how to submit.
Oh, hello,
baby.
hello, baby. Can you introduce our new like top coder member? He used to have a profile. Yes, I could hear that.
Just waking up. Oh, that's it one.
He probably didn't have enough attention over the last 24 hours.
So yeah, I had this little one crying to wake me up to make sure I go back to work.
So he was helping you with the problem.
Definitely.
I was seeing actually like some family members, like the contestants actually like going somewhere for a break, and then some family member comes and start looking at the computer, trying to see like, hey, should I press some buttons or not? So yeah, everything everything happens when it is around the house, and you can probably hear in the house that there's something going on as well.
By the way, did you have intended solution in mind for the problem?
Not really. Personally, I just build a greedy solution. But then I thought you can extend that to multiple steps and do some kind of Monte Carlo simulations, gather some statistics and look ahead, which I guess most of you have already implemented. And then I was watching CatalinT's solution, and I saw he was reaching a safe line of cells, and so once you reach that line, you kind of go backward and forward, and you're guaranteed to not hit a spike. And then once in a while, you venture out and collect a coin, and then go back to this safe line. So I thought that's actually a good approach. Just jump around these safety locations. I guess it can be a rectangle as well, a safe rectangle.
Oh, the line is the easiest because it guarantees you no matter how many randoms you get. So but I think that was the side effect of every descent solution, that you are just stuck in one place and you try to get rid of all of the randoms that you have, and then you try to explore, and then you get back to the safe place, and then you try to get rid of randoms again.
Yeah, I didn't have this in mind. Like I also noticed this looking at the visuals. I was, so this is what it's doing. Makes sense. It goes into a line and then it tries to go off and on and off. So that's why I thought maybe if I had, that's where maybe assuming that I'm gonna get the random was problematic, because like at some point if you got a specific number you could maybe go back and like jump and go back. But if you just assume you're gonna get randoms in the future, it was very hard to jump to a specific coin and back because you had no control over the jump. But that's that's something separate.
Yeah, the tricky case was maintaining a trade-off between exploration and safety, because for a lot of cases you will eventually get run out of moves. So that's one of the hard parts, I would say. But the variance for all of the hard cases is going to be enormous, especially for two dices and like a lot of spikes. Like the variance for those cases is huge.
Okay, so quick question. I think we've got 4 minutes left, but I'm just wondering, how do you know when to stop? If it's early in the solution, do you ever hit a spike and then continue, try to regain your points?
Once you hit a spike, anyway, it's too late. You may as well continue. But it's before hitting the spike where you make the decision, or do I take the risk or not? So the way I try to do it is, I was running simulation, not like full simulation, but for some move ahead, with like a greedy peak each time. Like for the first move, I try all the move, but then I run simulation where I pick a greedy pick the next move with some kind of heuristic, and then I have a new dice that appear and so on. And you can compute an expected score like that, kind of. And so you have the probability of hitting the spike might be lower than the expected score. So either you think that you will recover or that it's still worth to continue because you might hit the spike and then it's bad and screw your whole score, but it's not likely to happen and you're more likely to increase your score by more than that. So that's kind of how I did. At the very beginning, I had I was running full simulation to try to pick a limit of when never give up. Like if I'm below that score, I will never give up. But eventually, I just did simulation and tried to compute an expected score. I'm not sure if it works very well though. But, yeah, that was a strategy on my side.
Interesting.
I have a similar question, like not only about where you stop, but also sort of like how do you start? Because when you think about how do you, again, like exploration versus like safety type of criteria, that it's sort of like strategically obvious than like when there is sort of like easy part of the board where you can pick up a lot of coins and there is less spikes, and there is harder part of the board where there is more spikes and less coins, then you kind of like need to start first with the hardest part because you'll probably hit a couple spikes, that score will be divided, but leave the sort of like the yummiest piece kind of like at the end where you just eat it all without like stepping in at any spike. So, and that's sort of like opposite to like following this safety strategy. You in fact like want to follow unsafe strategy first and only end up with a safe strategy. So
Yeah,
did you
and
think about any type of management?
I'm not sure that it's always good to start with the complicated part because you cannot visit every sales anyway. I mean, in theory you can, but in practice you can't. It's too much randomness. So if you spend too much time in the hard part, collecting a few points because you hit many spike and then you move to the easy one, you might not have time to collect all the easy coins at the end. So it might be better to start with the easy part, collect all the coins, or maybe you can't even collect you don't have time to collect all of them, and then you just stop because you don't have enough time anymore.
Was it n square of the moves limitation? Was it like really limiting, like on many cases?
Yeah.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. Well, not in the cases with the huge variance. Like usually, there's some cases that are like fairly easy to never hit a spike, and sometimes you manage to get all the coins, and sometimes you get maybe 90% of the coins. And so, if you add more moves, you will be able to collect all of them. Cases with a lot of spike, usually I will stop way before the limit.
Okay.
It added to complexity, the limited number of moves. Otherwise, you wouldn't really have to optimize for getting coins as fast as possible.
Right.
Which I believe my solution sucks at that because I'm almost ignoring coins.
That's right. Okay, we are slowly running out of time, so I want to thank you all for participation in the marathon. Thank you for the great results, and thank you for putting up that and participating in the show. We all made it together after all this marathon. So, any last things you wanted to say or share? Say hi to a family, friends. Yes, hello, I'm on TV there.
No, I mean, just thank you, Dmitry, for the problem. I think the problem was actually interesting. I was just very frustrated with the scoring function. And the variance, but yeah.
Okay, next year I'll make it easier just for you, Ben.
Yeah, no spikes. Same problem, no spikes.
No spikes, only coins. Just for you. A special test case.
Yeah, thanks for the problem.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
And
guys.
good luck,
Thanks for the
everyone.
problem. See you next year.
And may the best
Absolutely.
person win.
Make the best person win. Looking forward to the system results. And congratulations to the winners, whoever it is. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to all of our hosts and our competitors who were brave enough to come on and talk about the show after 24 hours of work. So thank you so much for doing that. So what do we have to do now? Oh my gosh. So I think this ends day number 2. Marathon is completed, finally. We have completed the first design final competition, and we have completed our QA competition. Tomorrow, we are going to have 2 shows. We are going to have the development competition. That'll be pretty exciting. And we're going to have the algorithm semifinals number 2. Semifinals number 2. All right. So 2 big shows happening tomorrow. But you know what? We need to give out some prizes, but only for those who may have some knowledge. And if you remember yesterday, we had on our friendliest top coder member, the one that makes you feel like family here. His name is Luis Maestro.
Yeah,
Show,
welcome. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you so much for that warm intro. I just want to clarify that the one that makes you feel like family is not Maestro, it's pizza. If you have pizza, you feel like family.
Oh, yeah?
That's it, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Will you tell the people why you're here and what you're going to be doing in case they missed it yesterday?
Yeah, of course. It's a super weird coincidence that I'm here in the internet all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So yeah, just a reminder, if you didn't come yesterday to the best show of the best competitive programming tournament ever, I was here. Yeah, I was here presenting a nice gift, a giveaway of a cool prize for those who are curious and like quizzes. Quiz something simple that you can answer, the questions that you can answer. And yes, we have a very special prize. It's a TCO swag package, same one that the finalists receive. And the only thing you have to do is, to answer some questions that are going to be published here in the live broadcast every day at certain schedule, certain time that I'm actually going to take advantage here to put it in the chat. Hang in there a second. Wait in there and finally I have the link in here. So you guys gotta be aware of this schedule here, because this is the daily schedule when we will be publishing these polls, these quizzes.
Yeah.
And today we have a very special question. These questions are about we run about a boot camp 2 days ago. This week, 2 days ago, it just ended. A great boot camp. We were teaching new members how to use the platform, how to use the tools for design. I actually cannot say too much because the questions that you're gonna actually answer are about.
You're gonna give them the answer already? Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And yeah, so if you had the chance to attend the boot camp, you already have more chances to win. But if you didn't, I'm quite sure that you can answer these questions because they are pretty easy to answer. And actually, anyone can participate, even if you didn't come to the boot camp. So yeah, today we have a very nice question that our friend Nick is going to show it to us. And what you have to do when you see these questions here, you have to click on the screen. And the question we have today for you, it is, which set of topics were taught in the bootcamp? Was it QA, F2F, and React? You have to click on the screen. Was it SRM and Marathon? Or was it React, Design, and SRM? Or was it Quality Assurance, First to Finish, and Design? So we taught 3 topics in there, and it's of course only one of these sets is the right answer. You have to go to the screen, click on the actual screen, don't respond in the chat as Jesse said, and you will be automatically participating in this great quiz challenge. There's a leaderboard that we will be updating in the webpage that I shared, and there you will be able to see your current position in the leaderboard. And by the end of the TCO, we're going to have 3 great winners of these fantastic prizes that we hope that you enjoy it. So yeah, this poll is going to be hanging out in here for a second. So you have the chance to click it, to go in there. And yeah, you are going to be participating in that. If you want to know more about the rules, specific dates, and more details about it, I just want to remind you that I pasted a link in the chat in there. You can go there and check the forums about it. So that will be pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy this quiz. I hope you guys keep enjoying Top Color Open because this is very exciting. I was super excited to see Suliper's little cute baby. That was awesome on screen. And yeah, I hope that you have a good time. And I'm gonna head it back to our main host, Nick.
Oh, thank you so much, buddy.
No,
All right. You give you 5 more seconds to fill this out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on.
All right. So if you submit it correctly, I guess we'll be giving away some prizes. So stay tuned there. How will they know if they won?
All right. Yes. The results are going to be published on November 24th on that same forum thread that I pasted in there.
Okay, great. And can they know the answers now, or now that it's closed, or do they have to wait?
They have to wait a little bit.
Okay. All right. We'll wait. We'll wait and see. All right. Thank you, Maestro, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Nick.
Okay. So, guys, we are going to be moving on to day number 3 tomorrow. I will be posting the schedule here for you right after I take this ugly mug off the screen so you can see what is coming ahead. Again, it's going to be development and the algorithm, semifinal number 2. Both 2 exciting competitions. We will be covering it here bright and early my time. But, we're broadcasting this all over the world. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us anywhere, email, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We're everywhere, all right? Okay, until tomorrow, have a good night, good afternoon, good morning, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.